You know how important this game is for Unicorns Love. This is their final game of the day as well. And Furious Gaming, they are slowly and steadily making sure that Unicorns Love are crumbling down, crumbling and falling apart. Fresh is left there with TK as well. Fresh in the clothesline, being contested from a few angles. Doesn't really know where to shoot at first.
Let's just relax a little bit here, fellas. Let's just take our time. And now that's paying off. They got the numbers advantage. They got 4 up, and now they're slowly creeping and crawling in.
Buzzy trying to crawl to safety, but I feel like
now Rolk is heading in further forward. They heal back up.
What an ending, though. Congrats to, of course, Unicorns of Love right there. You talked about it. 2 points, right? They qualified to Super Weekend by only 2 points. And now coming into this game.
Right now, moving in onto this zone, and you can see Ghost amongst the plethora of players coming in on that hard shift. And we are gonna be eating well tonight, Necro, because we are about to see a lot of these teams start to drop with that sudden big shift in phase 4.
Enough to take Rebellion down. S2G and Fibonacci, the final 2 teams arrive. Trades are happening back and forth. S2G seems like they're coming out of top.
Make sure to be locked and loaded, ready to take this engagement. Silas going to be pushing with the UMP. Go for that straight out, about 50% HP. But from behind, the explosion.
But before we get there, let's take a look at the standings. Once again, S2G, the point gap is widening. We haven't even mentioned the point gap, but let's take a look after that chicken. All right, they are 80 points. 80 entire points ahead of second place.
See them pumping the brakes just a little bit. They don't have the numbers to their advantage, but Frozen cooking a grenade. Yeah, looks like Alpha 7 already going to be down a member, so we kind of see them pumping the brakes just a little bit. They don't have the numbers to their advantage.
It was at this moment that Nathan knew he f***ed up.
Frozen cooking a grenade, tossing a grenade. Looks like it bounced off that little...
In the clotheslines. He does have his teammates though in the back lines. But what I'm wondering is they have clear line of sight on the forward position.
Oh God, please, no! No! No!
Oh, dude, what the hell?
And this is a highlight from that previous map. How
it is running right up. Much with that information instead of moving further forward. Now the problem is for a team like Rise is yes they can play well. I mean, production, please stop the savagery. I mean, Rise.
Ready for abstract.
PUBG Mobile fans around the world, welcome to the 2021 PUBG Mobile Global Championship. To the top teams across all regions, we have a message for you. The Middle East, you have proven your worth. Now, make your formidable debut on the PMGC stage. South Korea, forget the past. This year, show the world you've ascended. Remind the world of South Korea's raw talent. Japan, you came so close last year. But what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Bring it back better than ever. The Americas, you're the alpha dogs that dominated the West. Now, lead the pack on the world stage. Southeast Asia, you took down so many strong teams on your journey to the top. It's time for a comeback on the global stage. Europe, it's now or never. Push your limits and surprise us all. This is the moment to create your legacy. South Asia, you were the dark horse of 2020. Amaze those who would underestimate you again. China, you carry the crown of last year's PMGC. Now, with everyone's eyes on you once more, can you secure back-to-back victories? PMGC needs a champion. The world needs a champion. Who will stand victorious in the end? Who will be next to glory?
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Hello, PUBG Mobile fans. It's almost time to bring together the world's top teams for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021. This year's PMGC has a total prize pool of $6 million for teams and players, and tons of great rewards for our fans as well. PMGC will consist of 2 stages, League and Grand Finals. The League phase will last from November 30th to December 24th. During the League phase, teams from the Americas and Europe will compete in the West League, while teams from Asia and the Middle East will compete in the East League. Each league, 20 teams will compete on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for 16 slots to compete on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in that week's Super Weekend. The total Super Weekend scores over the first 3 weeks will determine which 16 teams will compete in the PMGC League Finals during the final week. The top 9 teams from the East League Finals, the top 6 teams from the West League Finals, and a special invited team will advance to the PMGC Grand Finals. The PMGC Grand Finals, which will take place on January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, will determine the PMGC 2021 Global Champions. Who will be the next to glory? Don't miss a single minute of exciting PMGC action.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 West League. It is Super Weekend 2, Day 2, and yesterday's games, if they're anything that are going to be setting us up for today, all I gotta say is I think they're going to be insane. I'm your host, Span Cargo, and with me are, of course, my awesome analysts. We got Zute and the 7 Worlds Gaming. How are y'all today? What are you expecting?
I'm doing great. You know, yesterday I got to sit on the sidelines and watch, and boy, were those some amazing games. I'm really happy to see, you know, one of the fan favorite teams, Alpha 7, you know, finally really showing their dominance, but can they carry it through with the next 2 days? I mean, that's yet to be seen. And well, 7, you were here yesterday. I was jealous. You got to watch some amazing games, man.
Brother, we finally got to see what we've been asking for the longest time. We even talked about it. It's been this like unspoken rule, talking about Alpha 7 and Navi. And finally yesterday, like, I mean, 4 out of 5 matches, they decided to engage, and Alpha 7, as you mentioned, did end up getting the top of it. We'll be talking about them a little bit more here. But Span, here we have the format so far, and we're at the Super Weekend, right? Second Super Weekend, is that right, Sven?
Yeah, we're currently in that second Super Weekend, so we're in that square right in the center. We already did our weekday matches, absolutely insane games there as well. And since this is a second Super Weekend, that means after the completion of this one, next Super Weekend, that's all of the points these teams are going to be able to accumulate to get to that top 16 to make it to the league finals. So kind of after the games today, we're officially going to be kind of at the halfway point for these teams to be gaining as many Super Weekend points as possible. So, you know, all these teams obviously hoping to have really good games today to set themselves up, of course, for that $6 million total prize. They, of course, want a piece of it. And now, Zute, I know you went on ahead and already brought up Alpha 7, but I feel like teams that I kind of want to focus on first really quickly, Besiktas and Blue Chaptan. I mean, Besiktas, 61 points already. We'll be able to see the leaderboard in a bit. 61 points already. They played insane.
Yeah, 61 points is huge. Baluk, though, right? You mentioned these two polar opposites. Baluk had a really slow start, but it was only day one. I remember last Super Weekend, from day 1 to day 3, a lot of things shook up, a lot of things changed, except for, of course, S2G. You know, they remained dominant the entire week, but it's going to be super different this week. So I'm really curious to see what happens today and what happens tomorrow.
Seven, what are your thoughts about Besiktas? I mean, they obviously, like the first week, we didn't really see them too much. They obviously didn't make it into the first Super Weekend, but the second week, they've popped off. Like, they obviously looked and reflected on what they needed to change and did it.
They definitely popped off, and something that kind of stood out for us yesterday, and something that I believe Hot Jukes was saying that I 100% agree with him, is that this was a team that looked like they didn't give a damn. In a way, they didn't care which team was in front of them. They were willing to take a fight. They were willing to secure some elims. We saw them taking big fights yesterday. We saw them actually winning engagement yesterday, so that was really refreshing for me. And then when you're talking about Blue Chaptan, I mean, I gave them the first 3 games yesterday. If you weren't here, I was saying, hey, they're probably going to have the first 3 games kind of feel each other out. They're going to start very slow. And I was expecting to see a switch after that 3rd game. We definitely didn't see any of that. We saw a switch in regards to placement points. They did start placing higher. They did start securing some of the skills. So I guess in a way that was a positive, but I didn't see that switch that I was expecting. Hopefully here today, Blue Chapter will be able to kind of continue the momentum that they had a little bit on the last 2 games of yesterday, with both 8th place finishes, 1 kill and two elims on the other one. I'm expecting a lot more. Remember, they are trying to catch up Mad Bulls. We were talking about it for the longest time yesterday, and this is the Super Weekend rankings. As Sue was saying earlier, Alpha 7 has been on an absolute roll, okay? And I'm looking forward to seeing Alpha 7 continue like this, because I know this is a team that definitely feeds up momentum. This is a team that definitely feeds off confidence, and I can't wait to see what they're going to be doing here today, Sue.
I definitely agree with that, and we're on to the second page, but I want to touch on Na'Vi. So I predicted yesterday Na'Vi was going to pop off. They look real good in the regular league, way better than last week. And in all honesty, Na'Vi is doing way better than they did last Super Weekend. Last Super Weekend was really rough for Na'Vi, but now the thing that's stopping them the most is that Alpha 7 team. They're doing so much better, but Alpha 7 is limiting a lot of their potential there. And well, the head-to-head, Alpha 7 in first place currently for this Super Weekend, the Knights in second. So those stats looking pretty close. PK, or the Knights, actually have a little bit more average damage and elims, it seems. That might be the stats over the course of both Super Weekends here. And we have the head-to-head Revo and Coops 7, definitely the shining star for North America. But I feel like Brazil has so many big players that sometimes we see Revo, sometimes we see a Rise member, sometimes we see Carrillo. It just got so much packed in their region.
Yeah, that last graphic right there between the head-to-head of the players kind of gave me some deja vu to America's Championship there towards the end too. Revo and Cooks were fighting for that MVP. We might get the same thing here. Anything can happen so far. And going back to Knights, actually, I wanted to kind of give some props to Knights, because yesterday they started off the day in a way that it wasn't too flashy. They started off with the 6th place, 5 elims, 16th place, 0 elims, and then they started to pick it up, right? They started up with a 4th place finish. and they picked it up even more with the first place finish, and I believe it was 13 elims, and then they finished it off with second place and 14 elims. So this team is improving so much more, and something that I absolutely love is that Xenox. We started seeing Xenox yesterday too. It wasn't just Scoops. Now we're getting that improvement out of Xenox, and it's going to be an amazing day for them, hopefully.
Well, I'm glad to see it as well, because we obviously all identified that, hey, the first Super Weekend, they didn't do as well as they did over the league play. And that's, I think, is an interesting thing to take a look at. I mean, they're still doing very well, but we kind of talked about it's the difference between the league play and how you've gone ahead and played that. And of course, the Super Weekend, how they play that as well. So them being all the way up in that third place position so far, we already talked about it. Seems more like that's where they should be. But let's go on ahead and also go on ahead and shout out our sponsor really quickly. You guys know the deal, because we have OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro with flagship performance and an immersive 120 Hz display and HyperTouch technology made specifically for gamers. The OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro are your best shot to climb that leaderboard. There's definitely a couple of teams that we're going to be keeping an eye on that obviously want to go on ahead and climb even higher. Knights, kind of expecting them maybe to jump up higher than third place, but also a couple of teams that we already talked about that need a little bit of help with that, specifically Blue Chobton with only 8 points total right now.
Yeah, but Luke, they need to step it up. They are one of the teams that, you know, they missed the Super Weekend, right? So it's like, this is their first one coming in. They kind of need to start off hot. A day in already, they missed the day one opportunity. They got some points, they got 8 points, but day 2 and day 3 is going to be big. Like we said last week, that next Super Weekend is not guaranteed, and we've seen that happen to some of these teams like XSET and Team Queso. We thought, oh, they missed first Super Weekend, it's okay. They'll get the next one, right? Not guaranteed. So, but Luke, this might be, you know, the only guaranteed one, so they really need to step it up now. Hopefully day 2, they'll do something different. They'll switch it up. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this 1-7?
With this one, I mean, I already talked about them. I expect to see them carry the momentum that they had on those last 2 matches yesterday. And I'm so glad that you mentioned Exit and Team Queso there at the end. These teams are currently looking at this, and they're gonna. I can't wait for week of league play. This might be the first time that I'm really hyped up for it, because those 2 teams are gonna be so hungry, and these teams that are here right now better collect as much points as they can.
Ooh, definitely a big challenge. I can't wait for league play. I feel like it could have a chance to be just completely chaotic. But back to, of course, we're about to be going into our very first match of this day 2 of the Super Weekend. It's going to be on Erangel. Let's start off with some predictions. Who do you think are going to go on ahead and take this one away? Let's start with you, Zute.
Well, I personally, you know, went for the easy pick. Obviously, Alpha 7, man, like they showed up yesterday. I did see them, you know, pull off some huge games, but Alpha 7's a team that I've always been a fan of, a huge supporter of. I always knew that was a team to watch out for. And I think they finally got things, you know, working in towards the right direction.
Okay, 7. Who are you choosing?
I'm on the same boat. After what Alpha 7 was able to do yesterday, like it's hard for me to go against them. Being able to kill the momentum that Navi had going for them. Alpha 7 is looking good. Revo is looking like the MVP that I'm used to too. That's kind of what's leading into me with that prediction. Revo playing good. Then I expect Korea to be able to step it up as well. Overall, Alpha 7 is starting to look like they're getting into form.
You know, I don't disagree. You know, they didn't win a single game yesterday, so I think maybe they are due to go on ahead and win one. But you know who did win a game yesterday? They won a Sanhok, actually. It's the Knights. We were talking about them. We're expecting them going ahead and do better. You know, I had my doubts, obviously, on whether or not they would pull off this Super Weekend. But I'm going to choose them for the first match, actually. Just going ahead and turn around. They already proved me wrong. Let's see if they're going to go on ahead and win this first match as well. So there it is. It looks like we got Knights and then 2 Alpha 7s. We'll be able to see who's going to go on ahead and be able to say, I told you so, after this first match. But I guess any last statements before we're going to be jumping over there? Is there any other team that we should keep an eye on, Zute?
Ghost Gaming. They're a team that's always slow to start. It's been known. And they had a really slow start yesterday. But on the flip side, it's like I get the feeling that they just are not trying as hard. Sure, they're playing the best they can, but that motivation, you know, to really drive their way up there isn't there. Unlike for Alpha 7 and Knights, I feel like Alpha 7 and Knights, have more pride on the line. You know, that those MVP races between Coups and like Brazil, we saw it all throughout Americas. So I think those two teams, they have a deeper drive to be on the top. Whereas Ghost Gaming, I think they're a top tier team still, but we might just see them kind of cruise on by the Super Weekend because they did pretty good for a Super Weekend. They got the cushion points, right? So that could play a factor.
Okay, and that's what we assume S2G is going on ahead and doing as well. So it seems like there's a couple of teams that might be going on ahead and kind of doing similar strategies for right now. Obviously, S2G definitely has more of the ability to do so than Ghost. So I guess that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Another team that I think we touched upon, I believe we touched upon, 7, Fenerbahce. They still have not gotten a single chicken dinner, and that's what did make them so strong last Super Weekend. They were so high up on that leaderboard with 0 chicken dinners, obviously making them consistent. I feel like I didn't really see them too much yesterday.
We definitely didn't, and I mean it was something that we were talking about yesterday. We're like, what happened to that consistency from Fenerbahce, especially on the first 2 games? After that second game, I think they decided to kind of snap out of it because they're starting going back to just their regular, just consistent playstyle of being able to secure some kind of points. Remember, I was saying secure some kind of points. It doesn't matter if it's elims, it doesn't matter if it's placement points, just secure something. They were able to step it up in that department with placement points. They ended up getting 2 third-place finishes with not that many elims, but at least it's some points towards them. And I'm pretty sure they are going to be working to get that chicken dinner that's been eluding them. With Fenerbahce, I think it's just a matter of time. I think they might be trying out different stuff along the lines of what Ghost Gaming with Sute was saying, along the likes of yesterday, what I was saying with S2G. If you have that cushion, now is the time to take those risks. And you mentioned it earlier too, Span. That's another team that I'm going to be looking at today specifically. I'm not looking at them to do well. I'm talking about S2G. I'm looking at them to see what other crazy stuff are they going to be looking to do? What other riskier plays are they going to be looking to do that usually this team of the likes of S2G doesn't usually take those risks?
Good question. Oh, geez. I mean, you see, it's kind of conflicting, right? Since there's no prizing just yet in the Super Weekend, obviously these teams that are towards the top are kind of taking this as their opportunity to go on ahead and be trying stuff out. That's what you guys have been saying this entire time. That's probably why, you know, S2G might have went on ahead and did yesterday, kind of seeing what they could go on ahead and play around with. Assume that's what Ghost is doing. I mean, let's hope that that's what Fenerbahce and a couple of these other teams up there are doing. And I mean, they're allowed to do that, you know, as long as they're going ahead and stay in that top 16, they're good. But like, at what point do you get kind of concerned? I mean, Zoom, there's only one Super Weekend left. Do you think they're probably confident they're going to be getting into last Super Weekend? But if they don't, what are the odds that they go on ahead and get bumped out?
So for the teams that did well last Super Weekend, let's just say top 8. I would say top 8, you know, you did pretty well last Super Weekend. If you made top 8 last Super Weekend and you're playing right now in this Super Weekend, honestly, a top 10 finish is like okay, right? Like, as far as making top 16 overall goes, yes, you run the risk of, okay, if you don't make the next Super Weekend, that's looking a little bit scary. But I think in the long run, especially with 2 teams already missing 2 Super Weekends, that's already 2 teams kind of just out of the running that you don't need to worry about. So I think that kind of creates an even bigger cushion in the sense for the teams that did well last Super Weekend. So I'm not too worried as long as whatever they're doing, right? They're learning to implement and experiment with into the finals, right? So they may not be getting many points this Super Weekend, but as long as they're not just throwing games for the sake of I don't care, right? If they're testing things out, if they're learning things, that's all that really matters right now for me coming into, you know, this second week span.
Okay, you know, that kind of makes me excited to see what's going to happen in the finals then, because then we'll get the full potential of those insane teams, obviously. So I guess that's something to look forward to. Again, getting ahead of ourselves as per usual, because this is only day 2 of the second Super Weekend. We're about to be going into match 1. We already said our predictions. I said the Knights. Both of them said Alpha 7. And I mean, I guess we'll see who's right. Another thing I'd like to point out really quickly before we jump in is that a lot of different teams actually won matches yesterday. I'm kind of curious if we're going to continue with that trend today and have a lot more people pick up their first chicken dinner, or if we're going to go on ahead and see that reversion back to the teams that have already gotten chicken dinners to take it. But we don't have to wait long for this first Erangel match, because here it is, sending it off to Hot Jukes and Mustache Dave.
Don't have to wait long at all because we're getting started here today, everybody. What's going on? I'm Hot Jukes here with the legend, Mustache Dave. And we're getting started here today, Dave. They didn't want our predictions, man. They just wanted to hear the desk predictions. What's ours? What's yours, Dave? Who's winning this
BM. I gave them my prediction. They're like, no, we don't want your prediction. You're just the caster. I said, whoa, hey, relax. I said the Knights, Hot Jukes. What about you, man?
I said Carnage, because he's a fan.
Maybe that's why.
Because the fans are the real winners.
Now that I think about it, that's probably why they said we don't want the casters' opinions here.
Makes sense.
Thanks a lot, Jukes.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. I thought it was a bold prediction, but hey,
it is bold. You never know. Coming off of, I don't even know. The silence, whatever he's doing right now.
The fans, man, the real winners here in the PMGC. First zone, I'm about to go on up here, and it looks like it is going to be on the west side. West side, best side. Here,
west side, best side. Duke and Machine. Oh, I talked about the Knights, and I didn't talk about Alucard getting dunked on here. Oh, in the first 2 minutes here. Duke and Machine from Fibonacci.
Our predictions
not doing too good right there. Jukes, real quick though, I wanted to add onto the point before we get too off topic with what the desk was saying. They were talking about S2G in particular before things get really hectic here. I had the liaison kind of ask S2G a couple questions here. If you kind of want to hear about it.
Oh, let's bring it to me. What'd they say?
All right. Well, I was saying the team has a huge. Oh man.
Oh wow. Yeah.
We gotta talk about Baluk. Yeah, we gotta talk about Baluk.
Look at this. Baluk chopped on and Besiktas landing right next to each other, doing a little split loot. It's gonna be Fernand versus Sun HP, and you know this battle's imminent. The only thing is that there is another member of Baluk very close by. So if both of them are able to get anything, and it doesn't look like he's able to catch nothing right now. Oh, gets a pop shotgun. Oh, and he got a DP. Okay, so he's sitting pretty. But here comes the rest of Besiktas. You can hear that scar. Fernand is going to have to make some plays. That's not the one to make.
So, remember, I mentioned I got a couple points here. I had a point about S2G, but also had a point about Baluk that I'll bring it up here now that we're watching them. And I said, hey, the team's been going through some challenging times. They are in their first super weekend yesterday and the day before. Not the hottest, right? Not the hottest. And they said that they've done a lot of detailed analysis of their gameplay and the other teams who drop near them's gameplay.
Oh my gosh.
That's how it happened. And they told me that they are planning to correct those said mistakes here today on what has been going wrong. Now, I'll bring that up because I feel like one of the mistakes that we're kind of seeing from Baluk, and we can call it a mistake at this point just because they have only 8 points this super weekend compared to first place that has 80 points. I think their mistakes are their drop spots, and I feel like they're a team that need to drop far away from other teams, and it's no BM intended. I just feel like they need to drop away from teams so that they have the time needed to get the necessary loot to take a gunfight, to get into a engagement. Because right now we've been looking at Baluk and they're kind of all over the place, and half the time they get into these gunfights and they're not prepared for it, Hot Juke. So I feel like if they were to drop somewhere else, I'm talking Kamashki at this point. Anywhere, I'm serious, anywhere where they could just get a solid amount of game time in, get that loot, and come up with the game plan, I think would be really beneficial for this team, Baluk.
Oh my goodness, just real quick, saw that, of course, nice little kill there from Furious Gaming, beautiful way to start. When it comes to Baluk, I mean, how could you go against that? You know what I'm saying? Look at the lane, up on top. Okay, switches to the bolt action. Oh, if he hits one from there, could you imagine? The man is getting a ride of his life on top of this vehicle. The strategies. So instead, since this is only a 2-seater vehicle, they brought 2 people. Elaine is standing on top of the car, and they are driving him. He held onto the hood, and he made it. What a rotation. Hey, Dave, do you really need to worry about your drop spots when you got rotations like that?
Yeah, you do, because they still have 8 points. I get where you're going with it, and I'm impressed. But they're too busy doing that type of thing instead of getting points.
I feel like I was cheering, and you were just shaking your head while watching that the whole time, dude. I mean,
I'm the old man complaining right
just
now.
Like, they don't practice the fundamentals these days.
The fundamentals, and the fundamentals is not dying early. The fundamentals is trying to get some consistent points. Now look at this though. Okay. It ain't Sunday, but Solkay's got a UMP surprise spec. Take that one to the bank, bro.
Surprise, surprise. And look, Beowulf on the rotation tried to get behind him, but instead ran right in front of Lutz, and 2 members of Ghost are going to go down. So surprise, surprise indeed. HH24 Tensa going to have to take on off. Tail between their legs. Dude,
to me, this is footballists planning ahead, right? Because in zones like this, we see Ghost Gaming pull up here often. They love playing the top of this mountain.
They're going to challenge this? HH has to. Well, Tensa, they may be able to surprise him right here. HH does. Oh, HH got caught! No way!
He could have taken the shots with the Uzi. Chose not to.
Too patient. HH taking his sweet time. Tensa wasting no time though. Gets a 2-piece, and he may be able to get the finish on Rom. Oh, actually, doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Yeah, just too much support. It's okay. Coming in on that off angle, just eliminating the sight lines, and now Tensa's going to have to make something magical happen. He's got the UMP. UMP is OP. But he's going to have to get 1v1 situations, and you ain't even going to get the chance. Ghost Gaming eliminated first here at the start.
Really like the team communication right there. They knew Tensa was behind that boulder, and instead of just face checking them, jumping over the boulder, they wrapped around both sides. So even if Tensa was to get a knock, it would be a challenge to make that quick flick right after and get the second knock. So I love that. That right there shows team communication from Footballlist. Coming out on top right there. I think Footballlist, they planned ahead for this one, man. Like I was saying, Ghost Gaming, they like to play that top of the mountain here in zones like this. And Footballlist just got there a little earlier, which is even more impressive because when we talk about teams and their quick looting, I feel like Ghost Gaming are one of those squads that are known for getting in and getting out really quick early games. So to be able to beat them, that's impressive.
Yeah, I was about to say they got out early game here for sure. That's a fact. You know, Footballlist, I think that they had to do some of that research because I think you're totally right. I think they did set up the plan. They went to Everest early, caught Ghost on the rotation. And speaking of caught, where is my graphic, Dave? I checked my Twitter all day to see how many times, you know, we asked the fans to send the graphic of who has won more fights, Alpha 7 and Navi against each other. Nothing, Dave. And you know what? Just like you said it before, Dave, that's an easy retweet. Easy retweet, Dave. Haven't seen it.
And a like and a comment.
And a like, yes.
And maybe even a subscribe, just like you should subscribe right now to this channel that you're watching. And we're getting into the action. Revo looking to get involved here. A7, 80 points at the top. No sweat, no fear. And of course, they're going to be up against Navi.
Navi and Alpha 7 have been going at it constantly this entire tournament. And Alpha 7, almost every time I've watched, has gotten the better of them. Can Navi finally turn it around? It doesn't look like it. I mean, Alpha 7 is just executing this so perfectly. Just 3v1, 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 and then Navi gonna be the second team to go out here. I mean, just avoid him at this point.
And I think every time we do look at that fight, the BM levels just increase from A7. I don't even think they chose to get out their vehicles for the most part of that fight. They were just trying to go for the run over here onto Navi. Oh.
SLR?
Ooh, SLR.
That was some nice taps. That was nice.
So, yeah, if you are Navi, I don't know, man. They are up there at the top, I think, coming into today, 6th place on the overall. And we're going to keep stressing it. The goal here, top 16 at the end of the Super Weekend to make it to the finals. But at the end of the day, you got fans. You know, do you want to keep getting wiped out like this, you know, against A7, one of your arch rivals here? And you got to get that respect on your name.
That respect.
Respect.
Yeah, I mean, Alpha 7, they've got it.
They got it.
As a matter of fact,
they've taken it away from Navi. I feel like at this point too. Like they've slowly been chipping away at that Navi legacy and how good this squad is from CIS. And I don't know, man. A7, they're giving them a good run for their money here.
They sure are, you know, and at the end of the day, when I look at this tournament, it's all about the finals, you know? That's what the money's made, okay? So I'm going to give Na'Vi a little bit of a slight pass. You know, the thing is, though, when you look at, all we could do is look at what's happening right now. And what's happening right now is that Alpha 7 is giving the good old pow to Na'Vi, right? Multiple times. Come finals time, we're hoping that that's not the same thing, but so far, you know, it's not looking good on the side of Na'Vi. So I think that they have to turn things around a little bit for their fans, you know, for themselves, to kind of give them a little hope and a little bit of, you know, I don't know, something really good to think about come finals time.
Well, I think they have to be thinking about finals time, right? Because if they're running into them this much here, you have to assume during the finals, both teams are going to qualify. The same story is going to be told there, right? Like, they're going to keep running into each other because of their drop spots, because of the rotations. And 8 out of 10 times, A7 have been coming out on top of those early game engagements. And even if they don't get into these early fights, they're still always just next to each other throughout the entirety of the game, kind of just that thorn in the back of their side here. So I think you have to really start to think about the finals if you are Na'Vi, and try to come up with some type of plan on either put a stop to what A7 are doing to you, or B, try something else where A7 aren't always on top of you.
I think that's the play. I think that's the play. Because when I look at Na'Vi, I'm hoping to see, you know, finals time, we see like a different squad. Like maybe they've been kind of hiding their power. And then come finals, you see them bust out their true strategies, you know, to get some of those hundreds of thousands of dollars that are on the line. It's just very difficult to really assume that, though, when you look at the constant consistency of their rotations. I mean, we've seen them fight Alpha 7 almost every single game at some point. And like you mentioned, I totally agree. I think it's 8 out of 10 times you see Alpha 7 come on top. So when it comes to Na'Vi, you know, we know what the squad is capable of. I do think, though, at this point, it's time to start mixing things up. I think that you've already kind of solidified yourself as a squad that can, you know, that's going to most likely make it to the finals. But at this point, do you continue to fight Alpha 7 for practice? Or do you mix up strategies completely for the finals? What do you think, Dave? What do you think's better?
It's definitely an interesting topic, right? Because Na'Vi, they've been playing their play style. They've been dropping where they like to drop, and they've been doing those rotations the whole year for the most part. So, like, changing it up now, it might be a lot to ask for, but at the same time, with the way that A7 have been just pestering them this entirety of all the super weekends, it has to be in the back of their mind, right? There has to be some type of plan, like, okay, if it's coming down to the wire, do we have that plan B? Because once we get to the finals, Hot Jukes, there's a ton of money on the line, there's a ton of glory on the line, and then, of course, at the end of the day, you need to be in a certain position on the overall leaderboards to make it to that next round. That would really catapult all these teams to that next level on the global stage. So you got to think big picture, and I think I agree with you 100%. Now is the time that hopefully they are starting to kind of go to the drawing board and start to craft up some type of plan and start thinking about, okay, maybe we should. Maybe we might try something else. And now's the time to do it, Hot Jukes.
And I think that's what I'm stressing on, is like, if there's any time to do it, you have to do it right now, because you're going to still have a little bit of time, you know, to be able to get this work in, get this practice in, since you've already pretty much solidified yourself for that next stage. I mean, it ain't done yet. I think that you're still in 10th place, so, you know, a good couple chicken dinners will be able to give you that privilege. But, you know, I think you do have a little bit of room to breathe. So if you're going to change the strats, Na'Vi, start busting them out right now, baby. I want to see them.
And kind of going back on that topic, or just adding to it, teams that are looking for room to breathe. Ghost Gaming, I don't know. Currently 14th overall. They just got taken out, what, first place right there? I think, oh, are these the overall right there on the right-hand side? So
on the right-hand side,
overall.
sixth place.
All right, they got room to breathe then.
They're chilling. I was like, they're chilling. At first, I was like, kind of like wondering, but at the same time, Ghost, I mean, we've seen them almost, like, especially during league play, right? League play just to do enough just to get in, you know? And here they've been doing pretty decent. I do see them make what I like to feel is a little bit more rookie mistakes. I think Ghost are starting to err on the side of passiveness rather than flipping that switch like we see them normally.
Nothing's wrong with that, though. At the end of the day, you do want to get top 5, right? At least. Top 5 get you 6 points. Just those consistent placement points, but I think you have to be one of those teams that does that plus the kills, right? Just a good old-fashioned 50-50 split like we like to see. And yeah, I think Ghosts are okay. I think they can afford a couple bad games as they are going to be in that 6th place. Same thing with Na'Vi. They are okay for now, but we still got a couple days. Super Weekend 2, a couple games, and then of course we got Super Weekend number 3. So there's a lot of room for these teams beneath them to really grow and shine. And talk about growing and shining. Rise versus Knights.
Here we go. Mufasa's got that nade locked and loaded. He's gonna throw it right in front of him. He does go down. Gary coming in for that support, getting his teammate back up. So it looks like Mufasa is gonna get raised. Oh, we see the shimmies coming back and forth really hard. The Knights, the rest of them, and Xenox is gonna be just taking off, trying to head dead center. Is he gonna get caught out by Zessi? You can hear the shots. He's gonna spin out, and he's gonna go down the deck. He's gonna hit the deck real quick, but it looks like it's only a matter of time before he gets tapped. Smoke's out, still surviving. Wow.
Like all these bullets. You see all those bullets right there, just like pow, 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 like just getting fired upon Xenox. Yeah, peppered. And they are going to be in the zone. So Xenox did make it into the zone, does have a slight little position to work with when it comes to cover, and might even have some help from A7, who I see on that mini-map are now kind of collapsing near Besiktas, who were the team that was firing down upon him.
Well, Xenox is going to have to just lay down there, bust out of as many smokes as he can, and try and survive, because getting out of there is going to be a real tough time. Carrillo does go down. Let's get peppered up while he's knocked too, trying to survive. Enjoy with a quick laydown. Decides not to take that fight head on. And the rest of Besiktas here getting a little bit of coverage. This rock is not in zone, so they're going to have to push up even further. They only have a buggy, so that's not going to be really good as far as setting up a car wall cover. So I think they're most likely going to be heading up towards that a couple trees and hay bales that are a little bit further up from them. And then send it. Revo is full sending it across the map, hugging the zone, trying to find a spot for his squad.
It's always so challenging, especially when you look at the zone, you look ahead, there's a boulder and a couple trees, and you know for a fact there's going to be a couple of your enemies just looking at you to get that vehicle explosion. But Revo was able to make it, found the spot, calling out that spot to their teammates to group up with, and I really feel like that was a missed opportunity for Besiktas to kind of just all fire upon.
Oh,
kind of like what Rise are doing right now from the opposite end.
Yeah, maybe a missed opportunity for them, but Rise, they took that opportunity, and they were able to get a nice knock there to start things out. And the flush, there you go. So Revo is going to be done, and it's only Senatexa, I believe. Yeah, Senatexa is the only one left for Alpha 7. So that rotation looked good. Wasn't able to make it, though. And the Besiktas are pushing up onto Xenox. 3v1 Xenox didn't stand a chance. So there they go. Besiktas are going to take that little car wall that Xenox set up for them. It is out of this circle, but they're going to take a point. So moving a little bit closer and closer into the next zone.
Kind of smart, too, to be able to pull up there and use that burnt-out vehicle as cover already, because they're in that north area where it's just an open field. And then they kept Sun in the back line to play that anchor position and play that overwatch to keep, I believe, Senatexa pinned down to not kind of get that backstab. So I really do appreciate how Besiktas have been playing. Remember, it's their first Super Weekend. Yesterday, they got a ton of points. Around 60, right? 61 points. That is exactly what a team needs to do if they missed a Super Weekend. And right now, they still got their whole group up towards the north and a pretty solid position if they still have a vehicle or two alive to kind of blow up and make it their own personal cover moving forward.
Besiktas have been fragging out. I mean, it started off the whole entire, it's your first Super Weekend with the chicken dinner after missing one. That's a huge accomplishment itself, and they're continuing that dominance here. S2G, the most dominant team when it comes to Super Weekends, going to be going up against Footballists. See them very close by. Celsi is on the front lines, going to be able to give a little bit of information to his squad, but he is knocked. So it doesn't look like he's most likely going to be able to get up. Maybe they throw a smoke wall to him, but getting across that open little terrain, not going to work out, especially if Rit gets knocked. So now it's just Silas left for S2G.
I feel like S2G could definitely play that little ridge a little longer too, because we can see on that minimap Besiktas over there looking to get involved. The only thing S2G need to be cautious of is Papi Patro right behind them, playing the off angle for their squad. Want to get backstabs. But looking around though, look at the center right now of this zone. You got the Black Dragons right there setting up, looking for a nice defend. And now Baluk. All right, looking to make some plays happen.
Full sending it into Gatka right onto the Black Dragons, and they're going to be able to get some shots off. Looks like they do have one go down on the rotation. Black Dragons may be able to get a nice little under-toss nade out the window, and Baluk's going to be in big trouble. That's exactly what happened. Madion's going to go down too, so Baluk chopped up with a full send, and they're going to get eliminated immediately. Didn't work out for them.
Hasn't been working out. Talk about working out. Fibonacci down here in the trenches. Can't even see nothing, but look at this. This is Frozen getting a trade and then immediately catching a grenade to the face.
Rebellion trying to get a nade. It's open up things just a little bit further. Right here in this chopstick. And this is nade city. One good little nade, one Molotov. And that could spell disaster for the opposing team. Rebellion just trying to hold some angles, trying to do some pre-fire through the smokes, catch somebody slipping, and there we go. Nox bomb finds one of them. And after that, here comes this full send, full push. Only a couple members up left for next Ruya. Cooter holding down that ankle, gets immediately popped. Beautiful pre-fire there from Balky. One left, and they are executing this perfectly. He's gonna get it done.
Yeah, both these teams had no other option but to try to take each other out before getting that med off and then repositioning, because the next zone did pop and they're going to pop their heads out of that trench. Everybody knows there's teams down there fighting, and you're just going to need to toss out some smokes and hope that everybody is distracted rotating into the zone themselves, because over here Football is one of those teams who would have sight lines onto those chopsticks moving forward. Looks like they're going to be taking some shots downtown onto Rise on the opposite end of this zone.
And they're only trying to get just one knock to be able to give them a little bit of an opening to get into this next zone, because they're out of it. They're not in this next circle. You saw Lavazin maximize that 6x. Fully Mufasa, baby! That's what I love to see. That's the initiation knock that your team hopes for, because Rise, they needed it to get a little bit of breathing room. But on the other end, one player gets some beautiful shots, and now he has to cover Footballist. Is he going to give away his position?
Oh.
He hasn't yet. Oh, they know he's in there. Oh, nowhere to go. Who you hiding from?
I really like that spot, too, that they were holding down. I wonder if they just spotted him while they were driving up. But at the end of the day, that gave Rise a little window to try to make some plays, because now the Black Dragons, they're concerned with not only Rise, but also behind a Footballist.
Mythic and Mufasa have to run in the dead open, and all they're doing is doing it with guns on their back, ready to pre-fire those windows. They got enough knocks, though, that Black Dragons do not have an opportunity to shoot at them perfectly, but after that little reset, they do finally catch them out. So now the Black Dragons no longer have to worry about that side of the map. Rise are eliminated. 4 teams still up. Footballist getting a reset going. Black Dragons still up. Fibonacci and Besiktas. Besiktas are still in the game.
Huge game for Black Dragons, though. Yesterday, only 19 points out of all 5 games. Right here, right now, top 4 with 11 kills. So this position that they took up towards that mid-game is paying off big time right now. GC God trying to get that lean peak fire down with the M4. You know exactly where that player is in that guard tower. And Golden on the roof as well. I'm really looking at the Black Dragons to try to secure this chicken dinner.
Well, I'm so glad when they asked for predictions, I said Black Dragons all the way at the start, man. And look at them go. 12 kills so far, crushing it. Footballers have 10 too, so they are doing great at the time being. It's just Enjoy left for Besiktas on that off angle, but I hope he has some first aids, because he ain't going anywhere from there, I'll tell you that.
Lawson again, a nice little grenade right there, almost getting a knock off of that. Golden really low. I think if you're Black Dragons, just try to slow it down a little bit. You did a great job defending that east side. You put a stop to the Rise push across the fields. Now you just got to try to keep your teammates alive. And over peaking, I don't know, Hot Chooks. I would be very skeptical, because they are kind of separated. that if Golden gets knocked, are they going to have the time to get the revive? You have to assume after that knock, Footballists, they're going to push.
That is so hard. Yeah, Golden wants to set the pace here because Footballists are going to have majority of this next circle. So you can see that he's kind of desperately going for that knock, but you're right. I mean, he's very predictable about where you're going to be. Golden gets an elimination there. Fenerbahce is done. So now it is top 3. Black Dragons with 13 kills. Footballists with the best position for right now. And if Footballists and Black Dragons go off together, that could allow Enjoy to get to that rock right there, right across the street. And I think that rock is in by the just barely. So Enjoy right now is just waiting and sitting for this fight to happen so he can be able to creep up and try to make something happen for Besiktas. Oh, look at the laydown. Oh, he's crawling towards it.
So I would assume rock to tractor. That's the game plan. From the rock to the tractor. Oh, Lutz spotting Enjoy. Take them shots. Enjoy's still alive though. Tossing a grenade. Cooking a grenade.
That's not good.
Bounce off.
Oh, and throws another one. Gets a jumping nade towards Lutz. Little bounce shot. Not going to be able to make it. Enjoy. Just, man, he's throwing everything he's got into it. Look at that jump. Trying to get those nades across. Yeah, not going to be enough.
Need some smokes. If they had some smokes, I would smoke that street and go right behind that tractor right here, right now.
Enjoy got one. The bounce pass. Okay, Enjoy. He just gave that little nade a kiss and sent
Black
it
Dragons
across.
should push, in my opinion. That was the indicator. That was the invite for Black Dragons to wrap around Footballists and take them out.
I think they're too nervous. Right now. They have a good position. I think they're opting to just hold it and wait. GC God, though, you can tell he wants to push. Enjoy goes down for Besiktas, so now it is just Footballists versus the Black Dragons. Lutz is going to go for the res. You're right, Black Dragons really needed to push off that knock, but opting to just play it safe for now. And they're going to try to make this a fair fight.
Okay, picked up. Here comes the smokes. Here comes the push here, Hot Jukes. 3v3.
You can see the smokes coming out, so Golden's throwing out those to the left to just eliminate those sight lines, so that way he can still continue to hold that angle. Right now, it's going to be a battle of throwing all the utility they have. What a crazy shot there from the Black Dragons. He does have the MK, the Bob Barker. He's going to try to find an angle. They just still don't want to risk a thing. He's going to throw a smoke inside there, too. Yeah, he just want to eliminate every sight line possible. I tell you what, if these guys have any utility, they're throwing every single little piece of it they have right now to get an initial knock.
I think Footballists win this. I think Footballists win this, Jukes. I'm going with them.
You think so?
I think so. I want Black Dragons, but I think they didn't push when they should have. Let's see.
They opt to play a little bit slower here, a little bit safer, and we've seen that get, people in the bad positions. Lavazin gets the initial knock, and Golden continue to hold the spot. Now it's just Golden up left. And I think you're totally right. Passive does not work here. Footballists with the aggression, turn it around and steal away that chicken dinner away from the Black Dragons. Called it.
Yeah, they did.
Called it.
Footballists, man, they did. Dude, they did. Yeah. Hey, regardless though, Black Dragons second place finish. They had a ton of kills, Hot Jukes, so they are not fazed by that finish at all. But really, we saw Enjoy from Besiktas applying so much pressure and so much attention from Footballists that was their moment. And then Soulk got knocked by that grenade. They had the numbers advantage. They had the intel. They knew they were in that little building, that open garage, and they decided to just, ride it out, let it ride out. And, well, they got the pick up on Soulk, and then Footballists took out Enjoy in the process, if I'm not mistaken. So it is what it is. Great game, though, regardless, to start this day, Hot Jukes.
Oh, great game. A great game. And I love to see that kind of finish in a way because I think it points out something that I've been really just stressing on. And that just goes to show, like, the top teams. Talking S2G, Alpha 7. I guarantee you, when they saw that knock, those squads are pushing immediately. And I think Black Dragons in a regular tournament would push all day long. But this is the PUBG Mobile Global Championships. So much pressure is on the line. And when you have this kind of pressure, you're going to see players just kind of, let's just play passive. Let's just play it safe. And when you play it safe and you hesitate for just a second, boom, you'll get that chicken dinner stolen away from you every time.
as Jason Kaplan would put it, pressure makes diamonds, and that's what we're looking for here this season, the diamonds. And I agree with you 1000%. I think just looking at the results yesterday from the Black Dragons, out of their 5 games, they only got 19 points. So I feel like they were in a position to get the chicken dinner here today in game 1. They already had a bunch of kills, and they didn't want to throw that away, right? They didn't want to risk it. But I feel like at the same time, that overthinking of the simple fact of, I'm sure they all knew they should have pushed, right? I'm sure they were all saying, hey, let's go, let's push. We saw GC God actually slowly pushing forward and then doubling back. I feel like overthinking it right there might have cost them that first place 15-point chicken dinner. But at the end of the day, second place, ton of kills. They should be happy. Oh,
look at that nade. Oh, and then that snipe there from Mufasa to kind of open things up for Rise. At the same time, they had a ridiculous rotation. They did their best, unable to make it up into that fight towards the end. And yeah, I mean, it's what it is. I ain't gonna lie, Dave. When you have, over $250,000 in prize pool on the line, I think, yeah, that'll make me hesitate too, So it makes sense why it happens, but I hope that Black Dragons use this to realize we can't hesitate, right? We cannot slip up. We have to full send it when we got the chance, and I think there's no better time to learn that lesson than right now.
That was a missile. That was a missile from Enjoy onto Soul K right there. A heat-seeking missile. What a game 1 right there. Solid game. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear what the desk have to say about match number 1.
Starting off, all I have to say is, wow, that was an intense game between Footballist and Black Dragons there at the end, but I'm just going to toss it straight on over to Zute. That match.
Oh, yeah. First, congrats to Footballist, Black Dragons. Great games. But I want to talk about what happened very early on. I'm talking about Na'Vi versus Alpha 7. So we were looking at the map feed, and 7 confirmed with me. Na'Vi went out of their way to try and do something to Alpha 7, which I respect. That's great. You're establishing a game plan. You're no longer just leaving it in the hands of Alpha 7. But they went up north to try and hunt down Alpha 7, and the reverse just happened, 7. I mean, we were both watching that, and I'll say it. Maybe 7 doesn't want to say it, but Na'Vi, Alpha 7 making Na'Vi look like a tier 3 team in that engagement. I'm sorry, but Alpha 7 just absolutely handled that.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. By the way, we're looking at the MVP here. 6 elims, almost 1,000 damage. Not bad, not bad. Black Dragons. We've been expecting some stuff out of you guys, but going back to what you were saying there, Sue, with Na'Vi, was that a tier 3 out of NA by any chance? I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna put you on that spot.
Ooh, okay.
Now, going back to that, we were able to confirm it. They did try to hunt them down, and I think it was because of what happened yesterday. What surprised me, though, is that they decided to hunt down Alpha 7 on Alpha 7's stomping grounds, because Alpha 7 is usually towards that north, and you could see it that they were just so lost. You saw Revo at one point being able to come up behind 2 players of Na'Vi, and then just Alpha 7 had all the angles. Overall, what an amazing play. What a defensive slash offensive play by Alpha 7 on the last one. I do gotta give props to another team, though, as we're looking at here at the Super Weekend rankings. By the way, this is, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is just for this Super Weekend. Besiktas had an amazing start to today as well. They were able to secure 14 points. That's going to get them a little bit closer to Mad Bulls. I do expect them to be passing Mad Bulls today, especially Besiktas continues on this trend where they be scoring more than 10 points per game. Overall, they're having an amazing start to the Super Weekend. We saw Blue Chapter. They didn't get, I'm not sure what's going on with Blue Chapter. They either go Severny or somebody gets caught off. We saw them losing a player at the start, and that was super weird too. Overall, though, hey, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of football. It's good job. And they also beat Ghost Gaming at the start, which I thought was huge too.
Yeah.
Geez. Well, that was once again an intense first match where a couple other teams decided to go ahead and step up once again. So there's still a ton of teams I think we're going to see some nice performances from throughout the rest of today. We still have 4 matches left. And just as a reminder to y'all, you guys can be voting on these guys. You can be voting for your favorite PMGC teams and players and go ahead and get yourself some rewards. So get a voting ticket by logging into the game, watch live in the Esports Center, and of course share that voting page with friends. You can find more information from the in-game Esports Center, the Basically, go play PUBG Mobile, get yourself millions of rewards, various pink level permanent items, only during this PMGC period. And also, kind of to continue off of that, I got a little bit of a question for you guys. Who is your PUBG Mobile dream team? I want you guys in the chat to go on ahead and just type down who you think your PUBG Mobile dream team is. And you know, it might be fun. Zute, do you want to answer this question as well?
Oh, PUBG Mobile Dream Team. I get asked this a lot in my streams, right? When I'm streaming, watching these tournaments. And my answer is always, I don't know. Because it's so hard to make a team. Because are we considering language differences? Are we considering roles on a team?
You're
you know, like
just play style.
You're way overthinking it, all right? The dream teams, everybody can talk with each other. They'll be able to understand each other.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to be with head signals or what it might be. But yeah, you're overthinking that one.
Okay. Well, you know, get back to it, think about it. But first of all, we're just going to go on ahead and toss ourselves into a break. So don't go anywhere, y'all. We still have 4 whole matches today. And that was just the start of it. See you guys shortly.
They're going to be holding off the entirety of DRS, pushing in onto this on-time now. Rock has taken place. Arcade is going to be calling on up. That is a very smart play. Oh no, Nima!
Help always kommt inside hier von Jesper Poliana. Nice. They could move closer. They could try to stick together. They find the revive coming from those stereotypical locations.
Yeah, boy.
So we saw these teams drop on by. Don't do it. Don't save it. The paraglider is using this, okay?
Valo, though, in a position to maybe receive open arms Reggie in a battle of his own.
Roger that.
Wall does get done. Will get down. Back up.
Help me!
Roger that.
Sarah, in the meantime, has managed to push all the way up. But it's the holdout coming through from the Deadeyes guy. Straight through the window. Plants some.
Just starting to make their way outside of Pachiki, which I would argue is a little bit too late. A couple of teams would like to go around. Helicopter! Extended more, and I'm sure others will join in on the mix. If there's ever a time to say, helicopter!
It was at this moment that Nathan knew. He up.
No!
Yes, two killers, but this will make it big for 7-9 if they can get the chicken dinner. Now we're seeing a lot more information here. Yeah, speeding up. What? What? Hang on, back kill! What? 7-9 with chicken dinner! What?
Welcome back to PMGC West League Super Weekend 2, Day 2. Of course, we just did our first match on Erangel football. It's, of course, just running away with that one, adding on to their total number of chicken dinners. And we're about to be jumping into our second match, which, of course, is going to be on Miramar. But, Zute, I know that there is still some stuff that you wanted to talk about based on this first game.
Real quick, before I upset, you know, the Na'Vi fans and whatnot, I think Na'Vi is a great team. Don't get me wrong. But Alpha 7 is just Na'Vi's kryptonite. And I do also want to add on, I respect Na'Vi for trying to do something now, right? Last week, they kind of just say, oh, we'll just let it play out, see what happens. Alpha 7 doing great, Na'Vi doing really bad. Coming into the second week, yesterday, it's like, all right, let's take the fight to them, like pretty actively, right? They're fighting a lot more now. And at least they're learning and adapting, hopefully, and they're doing this now rather than later. So I do expect Na'Vi to keep getting clapped, just simply as that. But they'll get better and better at it, or they might learn to just change up their strategy completely now. But they're testing things out, which is what I really like out of Na'Vi.
Okay, respect it. Yeah, nice to see them kind of mess around. We'll see if you still upset some people with that, Zute. But taking a look at this head-to-head as well, we can see Black Dragons here against Footballist. We can see both of them really similar with their stats, and oh my goodness, I mean 7, the best stat of all is for this travel though.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, and I'm looking at Baluk Chapter, and I don't know where they've been traveling to. Maybe not getting those points because they're still in dead last, at least for this Super Weekend. So Reyes, hopefully you guys start traveling a little bit more towards the points here today. And going back to what Sue was saying, I mean, you're not disrespecting anybody. You're not fuming up anybody. It's just the truth. Alpha 7 is playing better than Navi. Alpha 7 now has engaged with Navi in 5 out of the last 6 matches. And Alpha 7 has come out on top, whether they wipe the whole squad or whether they at least eliminate somebody from their team. So Alpha 7 is looking that good. I am hoping, though, in this next match that Navi is going to be the time that Navi bounces back, because you don't want to continue to see this awful trend right now that Navi's on.
Ooh, is that your predictions, Seven? Next up is predictions. Who are you gonna go on ahead and guess takes this Miramar? Is that who it is? I see the head nod.
You know, I was gonna pick Alpha 7, but my boy and I picked the same one last time, so I want it to be a little bit different. I want to pick Navi. As I just said, I want them to be able to bounce back. They need to be able to adapt. Yes, I'm with Sute. I love them do different stuff, but that different stuff, I want to see a good outcome out of it. So hopefully in this one, in the Miramar, they'll be able to do that. So yes, Navi.
Okay, and Zute, are you gonna go the Navi route as well, or are you having someone else in mind?
All right, well, I picked Alpha 7, and just so the rest of you guys know on the desk, I mean, 7 said he didn't want to pick the same one as me. Well, for the rest of the day, no one's picking Alpha 7, because I'm picking Alpha 7 for all 5 games. I figure if I pick Alpha 7 all 5 games, at least 1, maybe even 2 times, I'll get the prediction right, because they're a really strong team. So I'm going with Alpha 7 this time, and every other time.
That doesn't really seem fair. That kind of seems like cheating, but you know, I guess we'll have to let it happen. For me, this time, I'm gonna go on ahead and actually go with the team that we were kind of talking about, that we want to see kind of come back, Fibonacci. I mean, they're still up there, but we still need them to get at least 1 chicken dinner, so that's just who I'm gonna go with for this next match as well. Is there anything else, though, that we want to go on ahead and keep an eye on when it comes to Miramar? Because I know yesterday's Miramar match was pretty... I don't know, explosive going in towards the end game there, 7.
Yeah, I wanna see what Navi's doing. Honestly, yesterday they had an amazing match. They ended up with 10 Illims, and right before that is when Alpha 7 started showing up to them, and we saw that horrible slump. So that's another team I'm gonna be looking at. I'm also gonna be looking at Knights. Knights didn't really have the best performances yesterday in Miramar. I want to see them being able to bounce back, especially after what just happened in Erangel, them losing Alakar super early on. Nothing that they could do in a way at that time to defend themselves. Knights is going to be another team that I'm going to be looking at here in this upcoming. By the way, Sue, I don't blame you for picking Alpha 7. I would honestly be doing the exact same thing.
I mean, like,
yeah,
like it's the obvious pick.
What if we just all break the system and all 3 of us just choose Alpha 7 for the rest of these games? No,
oh, it would make it easier for production. They'd be like, cool, we don't got to change that graphic ever for the whole day. But like something else I want to touch on though, real quick, for Miramar, right? Ghost Gaming. I mentioned Ghost Gaming very slightly in the beginning of today's show. Like, are they gonna start bringing it back, or are they literally just gonna try and cruise today and just whatever happens happens? Based on that first game, Ghost Gaming literally looked like they're sleeping at the wheel. I don't know if you guys saw the fight between Footballists and Ghost Gaming, but at one point, I think it was HH, he was hiding behind the rock, and Footballists waved to him from the side, and he just kept staring at the rock like, oh, hi, you don't see me, right? And then he just got knocked. So Ghost Gaming just looking really, like, not even bad. Ghost Gaming just look like they're not awake at all. So we'll see how they do this Miramar. I think they have a hot drop coming their way too, right, 7?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Super massive blaze. Although yesterday they didn't really engage as much. They just kind of decided to part ways a little bit. So hopefully this time we'll see it again. Maybe we'll see some engagement. I think if they do engage, it will tell us a lot about Ghost Gaming and how they're going to be doing here on this next match.
Well, the first match is over, so hopefully they are in fact woken up at least a tiny bit. They still have 4 whole matches to go on ahead and play. That goes the same for everybody else. There still are chances for these 2 guys to go on ahead and get chicken dinners and increase their points for the Super Weekend, because as we know, this is what matters to get into the final. So let's go ahead and jump into our second match of today on Miramar. Once again, Jukes and Dave.
Let's jump on into it. Thank you, Span Cargo and Desk. Dude, what a great, I mean, I'm telling you, our analyst desk is some of the best in the business. That's what I'm talking about here. Let's get into game number 2, Dave. Earlier, the desk was talking about, and asked the audience, and I want to know, I want to ask you too, you know, it says, what is your PUBG Mobile dream team, right? I've been asked this question a lot too, but I want to know, what is Mustache Dave's? Who's on the roster of Mustache Dave's dream
Okay,
team?
great question. Yeah, I think all of us get asked that all the time. And one player that I always say, at least when we're talking about this year, Coops. Coops definitely one of the players. I think Carrillo from A7, another player, so that's 50% of my team.
That's a good one.
I think Action from STE. Okay, there's 3 players on my team. So I got Carrillo, I got Coops, I got Action, and that 4th one for me. Oh, I think it's a toss-up between Revo or Timber from S2G. So we'll get back to that because they were talking about the hot drop here on Miramar. Looks like Ghost. So far, looking kind of good out here against SMB.
That's how it's done. You know, getting that initial kill is going to be huge. So that's a 4v3. And this is it. Pecado, baby. Sin City. And another knock on the side of Ghost. HH24 busting out the mini in the CQC. Beautiful shots there. So that is going to be a 3v2 situation. So now Ghost, all they have to do is get calm, collect themselves. They've already got Savian out of position. Solo. Oh, I thought that was a shotgun.
The Winnie.
He's got the Winnie, baby. Oh, make something happen. Punish him. Punish him. Oh, Spec with some return shots. Oh, he gets shot from the side. And down he goes.
Talk about trying to deny the point. So, yeah, I think Ghost are going to come out on top of this one. I got a strong feeling. I predicted footballless last game. I'm predicting Ghost to win this one of Picado. Hot take. So, Jukes, I know you're trying to avoid the question. I said Carrillo, I said Coops, I said Action, I said Timber. Don't be avoiding my question, man.
Hold on.
What about you?
Let me see if Tron can avoid these. The question from Ghost. And the question is, do you guys want to go back to the lobby? And Supermassive Blaze said maybe not without getting a kill first. Getting a nice knock, but instead, the answer is yes.
So you want Tron on your team? That's what you're saying.
I'm gonna pass for now. You know, I'm gonna lie. Okay, my PUBG Mobile dream team.
4 players.
4 players. Number 1. Gotta put myself in there, dude. Because in my dreams, right, I'm the star. Okay, Dave?
Oh, man.
Right?
Hold on, I'm the coach then. I'm the coach of my team.
Yeah. Mustache
I'm the coach
Dave,
of my team.
Mustache Dave, my coach as well. Okay?
I'm the coach? Okay.
Yes. Need the coach Dave, right?
So we're
myself,
winning.
and then for the other 3 players, Carnage, and Carnage, dude. 3 Carnages. That's a dream team right there. Because you know what?
Why?
I need to be motivated when I'm playing. And when I know if I'm playing with 3 Carnages, I'm getting yelled at 3 times, you know? And that's going to drive me to push myself further beyond, you know, to ascend, Dave.
I don't know if I can coach that team, man.
I believe in you.
I think it's you and Carnage all day, honestly. I'll let you guys do your thing. Yeah, I'm going to coach my team. I got Carrillo, I got Coops, I got Action, I got Timber. I'm coaching them to victory, number 1 team. We might see you and Carnage in the lobby. You know, I can see you guys going pretty far. But I don't know. I don't know if you're going to make it against us. All right? My squad. I'm just saying. But nice pick, though. I respect it. I respect the pick. Not going to lie.
Oh, you got to do it. You got to do it. Bold prediction. There's Revo. Look at that little parkour he was doing, dude. Those guys, Alpha 7, know El Pozo so well. I've seen them make like these crazy roof plays, and it's so funny because El Pozo's like such a huge city that could easily be split looted, but you know, so many teams don't even want to get close to them because they just dominate that city so well.
Yeah, and right next to him, I guess, what's Baluk.
Just get away from him. Get away, Baluk. Just don't even early engagements. You don't even get close to nobody. Just wait until the end, man. I mean, like, you got 10 points so far. If I'm Baluk, like, I would just be playing it very conservative with rotations, avoiding early engagements, maybe only trying to get 3rd parties. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they really should be hunting down.
Yeah.
But yeah.
In all seriousness, like, to add on to that point, and, you know, it kind of just sparked on my mind because you spoke of Carnage. I think if I'm Buluk, just go review all the footage from 19E and just do what they did. Because 19E, that team was 3rd-party king. Like, that was their bread and butter, and it worked for them quite well, in my opinion. To kind of add on to your point there, I think if Bulu can kind of go for that strategy, I could definitely see them doing a lot better here.
Yeah, but don't, follow it completely because they didn't make it here, So maybe...
Okay, but the third party sense,
Yeah, but take that. Take that. Yes, I do agree. They were able to get that done. Oh, Revo just gets in fire as well. Is going to be able to survive it. And Frozen, gets burnt up. Frozen does burn the Molotovs. That makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. And actually got a couple words in with Frozen, just kind of asking once again about that 1v4, because we never really got to touch base, right? And
that was so
Frozen
nice.
said that they were really excited, but they were able to keep calm. They were able, and I think that's a key takeaway during that 1v4, is how calm they were. And they recognized they had the hill advantage, so they analyzed the situation and just reacted to it. But reacting to it in a calm way is what Frozen said really allowed them to get that 1v4. And when we talk about next RIA as a squad here today, they said that they want to show some aggression here because they are playing with confidence here today, and they want the viewers to really be happy. The viewers, especially from Turkey, to be happy with their performance. So they're out here trying to put on a show for a whole region. And I think that 1v4 was that spark from Frozen that kind of started the next RIA hype, at least for me.
Man, it's just so crazy to see that. It's so true that every single team here is most likely representing their region on their own. And, in order to be able to go to the next stage is huge, not just for yourself and your team, but your countrymen as well. So many people watching this at this high of stage of play. HH24 does go down there at the start. Baluk running into S2G after all, and they do catch Silas out of position. So they are going to steal away a point. So Baluk Chapton still hunting down players. Does work out on this one.
Oh yeah, and I was going to bring up a point about S2G last game as well, if you recall. And nice little segue right there. So I asked they do have a bunch of points when we talk about the overall leaderboard. And I said, are you guys, going to be practicing here? I don't think practice is the right word, but I think using this time to try new things, to try to, tighten it up. And they actually said that they plan on trying new tactics while maintaining their leaderboard status, because when it comes to the finals, you might see some new things from S2G. And I was like, so some new things. Like, that's interesting. So they're kind of practicing. They're trying to implement those new plans and tactics according to them right now, while they have time to do just that. Kind of like what we were talking about with Navi last game. So it's definitely something that these teams at the top leaderboards, they have on top of their mind, right? Like that's the game plan right now, is to try new things that you might not be comfortable with, and just prepare for the finals, honestly, Hot Chicks. And I know we're thinking far ahead, right? Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, now's the time to think that far ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the play right here. Right now is to just do nothing but fine-tuning. Make sure that your team is on the same page completely, because come finals time, the difference between first place and second is how much money? It's like over 200 grand. It's insane.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, so you want to be able to just get any little issue that you have out of the way. And I think you're totally right. Doing these new strategies, new plays, practicing new things is going to be super beneficial to have you more prepared come finals time. And not just more prepared, but also kind of mix it up for teams that are going to have eyes on you. Like if you're at the top, if you're S2G and you're Alpha 7, I guarantee you every single one of these teams, top to bottom, are doing the most intense VOD reviews on you specifically. So if you pop off, that's kind of the thing that you have to worry about a little bit. But if you're confident, you should be able to handle it either way.
Oof, talking about confidence, it looked like Baluk was taking some shots at Ghost and possibly looking to make a play. Possibly trying to wrap around that mountain that Ghost did occupy after that rotation. And it looks like one of their squad mates got caught in the crosshairs of the Knights out here.
Yeah, it looks like the Knights are going to try to get a reset off. It looks like they are going to be able to get it. This is still pretty early in the game. We're only in circle number 2 here. So this is definitely that scouting phase, trying to be able to find your positions, get as central in this circle as possible. Also protecting the vehicles. That's a very important thing inside of Miramar. Gotta have those vehicles because it's just so big. That circle hard shifts, you need a vehicle to be able to make that rotation. And it looks like Baluk are trying to get some revenge here. I don't really like this play. Especially with 2 down, trying to get this save is going to be so risky. Oh, Elaine busting out the bolty action. Got the 8x. That's the scope to do it. Can he hit those, though? That is the question.
I don't even think they need to hit them, right? I think just keeping that pressure and making sure that Knights don't peek over that ledge to get the knock or the secondary knock onto that player getting the revive for Baluk. I think that's the game plan. So they might be able to pick him up right here.
Yeah, they may be able to pick him up, but where are they going to go from there? I think they have to just kind of sit and wait because that is pretty central in the circle. So we'll see what happens with that as we move on over to another fight. Fibonacci versus S2G. Looks like Fibonacci, they are doing, Fenerbahce doing a 2-2 split here across the side of the map. S2G are grouped up as 2 in the middle. I think they realize they're a little bit out of position. So I think right now S2G is just trying to buy some time and trying to figure a way out, but I don't think they really have the utility to be able to eject from here, especially with Timber having the only vehicle.
Luke just getting shredded in that kill feed too. So S2G, we just talked about them. Their squad, they are comfortable. We see them all the way up at the top, even though A7 have been slowly creeping up right behind them. Top 16's the goal. So S2G, they told us they wanted to try out some new tactics here. They're in the lobby to prepare. And right now they got a really wide split between them. Barren terrain as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they end up surviving. But they do get the next circle, which is huge.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, look at the shift. Look at the shift. So I'm really looking around here. Who does this really benefit the most? And what I mean by that is I mean teams at the bottom of the leaderboard, right? I'm looking at teams that really need these points. Unicorns of Love, though. Besiktas, okay. Unicorns of Love, they super wide split, but they don't really need as many points as Besiktas, like you said. So let's see what Besiktas could do with this newfound advantage.
That's a huge shift for them because they're going to be able to just hug that blue zone and go to that hard shift side. They may run into Unicorns of Love, but they're so split up that I think that they're going to have the advantage of that. So that's a good rotation for them, and Besiktas have been doing very good so far in this particular super weekend, as they did miss the first. Rest of the teams are sending it on down. Na'Vi are so far out of position. They've got a long way to go to get into this next circle.
They're hugging the blue too. So looks like kind of following up with the Besiktas push. I can see Na'Vi rotating through them eventually, right? Eventually. So we'll see. S2G though, they've been out here in the barren terrain. I'm surprised we're not taking any shots quite yet.
I don't think they want to give away their position because they do understand that they are very split. So if he does make noise and gets knocked, there's no chance of getting picked up. So I think S2G is just trying to just stay quiet, stay elusive, and then hopefully be able to group up together in this next zone. And they may be able to do so if we have some other teams rotate in front of them, because that'll kind of distract the enemy squads around them and kind of take their attention away from them. So yeah. S2G are kind of waiting on a lot of contingencies here in order to make the best of their situation.
Yeah, I guess once when they start to take some shots out of football, it's like they're doing right now. Fenerbahce right above them might decide to crest over and really get that punch, that 1-2 punch onto him, like you mentioned. S2G is super separated right now, and I don't know, this terrain is looking deadly to me.
Nice little headshot there onto Fenerbahce, but the thing is, S2G, they did make that noise because that kill was just too juicy, you know? When you see that vehicle run out in the open, you got to take those shots. So they did, but they did give away their element of surprise at the same time. They are running a 3 split, kind of like a little triangle here. So they do have multiple angles to get coverage.
Ooh.
And if Fenerbahce opts to play this passive, this may work out for S2G and Na'Vi on the long rotation. This is outside of the zone. And they do lose. I like to say when you make rotations like this, you usually have to make the player sacrifice. And Na'Vi willing to pay that price to get into this next zone. They're gonna lose 2. And it joinks
in a row
away from them too. So Na'Vi, that's literally the worst rotation for them possible. Not getting any breaks here in this game.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, well, what a shift out there to that west side. And this is Miramar, so you definitely want to have these vehicles ready to go, equipped, gassed up, juiced up, and already in it to kind of deal with these circle shifts. And Fibonacci still big chilling. I almost feel like they don't really necessarily need to push out of their compound to take out S2G. They can just kind of let them be for the time being and kind of play bigger picture. But looking at other teams like Rise, like Black Dragons, like Aton, even Besiktas that we just complimented a couple of moments ago, it's going to be a challenge breaking into this new circle.
Looks like the Knights were able to catch Timber from S2G, so they end up losing one on that three-person split, so now they're stuck to with 2 people left. You know, going back to Na'Vi, I like that the zone shifted away from them because I want to see what Na'Vi could do here. You know, like, oh, Na'Vi didn't catch any breaks, but like my brain just like hit me. I was like, this is Na'Vi, you know, the squad that we should expect high things from. So I want to see Na'Vi still have success, even though they didn't get this circle. I want to see what they can do here, so I'm going to be keeping a close eye on them right now. Even with just a 2-man, what can you do, Na'Vi? Yeah. That's the question.
I think they could really third-party this fight in particular out here. Asta, and some nice little sprays right there, but then pulling back because Sun HP and Zessie getting really close within grenade range, tossing a couple over the way, and I believe causing a call to push back. But Black Dragons trying to pile in over here on that east side, running into Rise.
And here they go, Black Dragons coming off of the last game, did get a nice second place. Oh, Na'Vi, here they go. Matic pushing up right behind. And oh, GC Guy gets a beautiful nade onto Nunez. And now you're gonna see Black Dragons shift their focus onto their backside, worried about Na'Vi. Actually, instead of doing it as a team, they're gonna split up. Not sure if that's the best play here, as Matic, if he wins this 1v1, it's gonna be at a big advantage. Can he be able to hit the mark though? And Asta from long range gets one of the Black Dragons down as well. That is very bad for them. And Matic wins that fight, so that's huge for Na'Vi.
And then Golden taking a fight with Gary. Of course, Gary wins those. And I feel like the Black Dragons really misplaying that one. Should have definitely focused on the 2 players behind them. Take them out, heal up, regroup, recalculate the situation, then push forward into the zone right there.
But that goes to the last game. Yeah, we saw the last game. We saw, player wanting to push, but then backing off. So the hesitation between the team, I think, is what's causing issues within the Black Dragons. They have to make one decision and move as a unit together at the same time. That's what we see all the best teams do. Black Dragons, a great squad, but we see those little, those little signs of hesitation and lack of synergy. Hopefully they can be able to tune that in here in the next couple of games. Alpha 7, a squad that has probably one of the best synergies of a team in this entire lobby. They still got a couple players up in this one, and even as a duo, still so deadly.
Ooh, yeah, it's almost as if you just want to have the team be one brain. Instead of 4 brains, just be one brain, then just let your reflexes, your game skills, and your instincts kick in, right?
Ultra
at the end of the day. So I definitely agree with you right there. Black Dragon is kind of being 4 brains, and it's just not it's not working out here so far. I mean, yeah, second place last game, 10 of kills, like they're doing great, but right there, that misplay, you cannot afford that moving forward into the finals, because the finals, huge money on the line.
Big money, big money. Zessie
and that could be a $50,000 mistake right there.
Literally,
that's my point. Yeah,
it could be almost a $250,000 mistake. That's how crazy this is. I mean, that's what the level of money we're talking about. And the next stage, it's only going to get it bigger, right? So you got to be able to make plays as they go. Look at this. Celsi found a nice little sneaky spot, and ain't nobody catching him there. And he is dead center of this circle. So S2G using the hide-and-go-seek strategy, the good old peekaboo. And it looks like that might be able to put up some good points for them. I guarantee you, watch, he's going to get a top 3 finish just hiding there. I wouldn't be surprised.
And then you got Carrillo, the bodyguard, the overlooker right there as well. Oh, Gary, no, not like this, Gary.
Gary!
To the hands of a Baluk member, though, so Baluk definitely needed that point. So actually, I'm kind of happy for him. But Aton gonna be pulling in. Oh, they're getting shredded from multiple angles, though. Look at this, they're just going down one by one.
Smoke out. Milo's trying to get a little bit of help from the back, and Lavison! I mean, talk about getting pinched. And this is that hard thing to do, is decide when to move in too early. And that's exactly what happens. every team's going to look straight at you too late, and you're going to get gate kept. So Aton just missing that timing just a little bit. Ghost, usually pretty good with the timing. They're opting to just come in just right at the end, hold this edge of the circle, and gatekeep Unicorns of Love. Spec switching to FPP, trying to catch some angles. And they are in this next zone, so Ghost is playing this very carefully. I like to see this kind of play style from Ghost.
I like to see the M16 too with the scope, the single tap right there.
New meta.
Could, definitely, yeah, be beneficial. And looks like they're trying to utilize that right here to keep out Unicorns of Love, who we made a comment a couple zones ago, how separated they were, how split they were down towards that south. Looks like they were able to group up, but with these circle zones, they're playing it really slow, and now they're getting gate kept.
And this is circle 5. Blue zone really hurts on this one. So Fresh is going to be eating a whole lot of blue. Hopefully he's got some first aids. Baluk Chaptan going down there in 10th place. 9 teams still remaining. Fibonacci still has their full squad up. 0 kills so far. Waking to make some noise. And Fresh, the second he peeks. Spec says, Suyo. They've been waiting for that kill, and they got it. Now Spec's turning his head inside. Look at this. Oh, man. Sun HP hitting the salsa. Moving back and forth, avoiding Spec's shots for a little bit longer. Besiktas are all 4 up, doing a 2-2 split. 2 up front, 2 in the back. And they're all of them outside of this circle, so they're just trying to push in.
Besiktas down south have a couple vehicles. They were taking shots at the Knights as they made their approach up towards the north, trying to wrap around here. Sanhok, 6 kills. Wow, 6 kills, and the team has 7. So Sanhok is definitely feeling it this game. And look at this little 2-2 split the Knights are holding down right here. Now, it's not in the zone, Hot Juke. So really curious to see what the plan is. Like, what are we doing here? Possibly trying to take out Besiktas before relocating?
They got to move down. Yeah, they're trying to get some shots, an initial knock to be able to get a little bit of breathing room to move into this circle safely, but they're not going to have that at all. They had to full send it, so they moved on over. The zone is closing onto them, but they can't just full send it in, otherwise they'll die. They're waiting for the perfect time, hopefully waiting for some teams to fight each other to be able to use that time to move into this next zone. But you have to hope and pray. It looks like they are getting their wish, though, because they're starting to see battles go out all over the place. Xenox popping a smoke. Besiktas in really big trouble. I believe it's only 1 up left for them. So they do now have this entire side of the map pretty relatively free. Enjoy does get to his teammates.
That's huge.
Like he's going to be able to get those reses off. So Ghost, 8 kills. Now they're going to start sending it in a little bit by little.
Not only that, there's different levels of terrain here, and the Knights are at the tip of the slope and Besiktas down below. So it looks like Besiktas kind of getting pinched between Ghost and the Knights. But look at this, Alucard going to be pulling up to Carrillo's current position. Oh, in the corner, you were free. Oh, he got him is a fact right here. That's Carrillo.
Carrillo all day long. I mean, you said that he was the gatekeeper, the bodyguard, and that's exactly what he did. Fibonacci able to get a couple of players in the building, so they are safe and sound for now. They still have 1 player outside, I believe. And you can see Falky's going to throw some nades up there just in case. Not willing to take any risks. Rightfully so. He's going to go ahead and clear that top now. And Fibonacci in a good spot. Now Ghost, HH24 pushing really far up. Now they got their full attention, getting a couple of beautiful shots downrange. Pops up in the buggy. He's gonna probably go for the run over here. Spec, and he gets it. And there they go. Ghost eliminating Besiktas. Beautifully done.
Hold up, not Ghost. HH. HH24.
That's correct. That is correct. HH is
eliminating. Oh, wow. Hey, shout out to Besiktas, though, because at one point they had a solo up, but because the Knights decided to push into this compound, they were able to get the full reset on the team. So that right there was impressive in its own right, but then at the end of the day, you got HH looking for some kill points. The nice spray down followed with the vehicle run over. Man, that was a nice play from HH.
Hey, Papa, HH24 opening the door for Ghost Gaming. Love to see that there, getting some nice kills underneath their belt. Carrillo still up, still making some noise, still a problem for so many of these teams. Oh, that nade was way too close. Guarantees that's going to make him move a little bit. Another nade coming on in. Are they going to be able to catch him? Doesn't look like they do, so Carrillo's still going to be able to stay up for now. And what did I tell you? about
Top
that
three.
one position.
You said top three.
I said top three guaranteed. Way
Not
early.
yet.
The second I saw
Not
that
yet.
spot. Well, top 4.
Uh-oh.
Top 3,
Okay,
baby.
top 3.
Let's go. Let's go, dude. I'm
That's how it's
telling
done.
you, that spot is disgusting. And he ain't going to move a muscle. He's just going to sit, wait there, and collect them placement points. This strategy, it does work, and it works well. You can see it just like that.
Might even be able to get second place depending on where this next circle shifts, if it does
He can get
favor
first.
them.
He can get first. If he catches the right moment, guarantee you he can get first. Because he's been there for so long, Fibonacci has no clue. They have no clue that he's there.
Oh.
So no way he moved. Yeah, no way he moved. Okay, so yeah, so he's still staying still. If they both battle it out and it ends up between a 1v1 between Ghost and Fibonacci, I guarantee you he's popping up and he can win this whole thing. He's got to play it perfectly, though.
I really like Nox Bomb's position, though, from Fibonacci. If they can get a knock from up there and then kind of push forward with their teammates, could be huge. Fibonacci, they do have some hard cover to work with, but Ghost, they have that little ridge that they can just peek over, take some shots, and dip right back down. This next circle really will be the deciding factor. It looks like Ghost are right there on the edge. I think they don't have to move here.
They don't have to move, and they have the outside advantage. So they're going to know that there's only so many angles that they can peek from. Nox Bomb up on top, that is going to be the best position, in all honesty. Oh, look how close they are to each other. Celsi's right behind all this, and he's still going to he's going to stay quiet the whole time. Nox Bomb, yep, from the roof. The big angle, gets a thirst too. Beautiful shots. That was a huge one on the side of Fibonacci, and he's going to be able to give a lot of intel. Spec gets one, though, onto the machine. That's an off angle eliminated. Falky's going to have to cross, and he does cross.
Going for the pickup.
At what point is Cal going to jump up, though? That's the question.
So
at what point?
It looked like Falky was tossing a smoke bridge to kind of.
He stood up and got him!
Oh,
takes the 2 points and gets shot from Nox. So, oh no,
That's
for Fibonacci. Ghost coming in. They have to. They
Go
have
for
to
the
be coming in
pickup?
by now. Oh, Nox Bomb is going to res in the open.
What?
Ghost is playing it. They're playing it passive.
They have zone priority. So I get it.
Okay, so they're chilling. It makes sense. It
I
makes
get it.
sense. Says, come to us. We'll wait for you. We'll let you get that res off. Got those nades locked and loaded. HH is ready to use them. It's now a top 2 finish win prediction. You can see it there at the bottom. 51%. I'm gonna switch that around. I'm gonna give 51% to Ghost, 49 to Fibonacci here.
Let's see though. They did get the pickup straight up 2v2. HH in the smokes, looking to get a nice little grenade, and Nox Bomb looking to make the push in the open.
Nice nade. Ghost. HH24 runs on the open. Spec gets the help.
1v1.
That's a 1v1. And God, Spec wins those, baby. That's how it's done. Ghost gaming, getting the big chicken dinner. And this is what I think that was long awaited here in this particular super weekend. Hey, 51%, 49%. There you go, Ghost. There you go.
S2G, third place. You were right. The Hot Jukes hot take right there.
Top 3.
Congrats, sir.
Top 3.
I gave it to you. I gave it to you. It's because of you. All right, S2G got that third place.
You're welcome.
So good job, Hot Jukes. But yeah, great job for Ghost Gaming. They got the winner chicken dinner. They played that one pretty nice. HH24 as well. Nice little highlight play from them to take out Besiktas, who did get the pickup. So that was like a 1v4 if I'm not mistaken. And the Knights as well. They had a challenging push. I didn't see them making it out alive, and Alucard decided to send to that compound. I think that was the right play, but you had Carrillo just hiding in the corner, in the closet. You really can't predict that type of thing, and was really that nail in the coffin, in my opinion, for that Knight's push.
And Carrillo's probably one of the last players you want to deal with when it comes to hiding in a house waiting for you. And he's going to hit those every single time. Alucard just got caught off guard. So Alpha 7, this is what I like to see. You know, I like to see teams that don't quite have the best position. They don't get the circle bless, but they still get consistent points. And the team that I said that I was going to look at in the middle of the game is Na'Vi, right? And Na'Vi have proved once again that they couldn't get it done, even with a bad circle. Oh, that was a nice shot with that M249 from long range.
It was nice. Oh, okay. Baluk 3v1. That's how it's done.
Coops
though, from downtown, taking him out. Wow. What a game here. I honestly liked last game a little more exciting for me when it comes to just plays in general. But this game, I think what's impressive is the fact that a lot of these teams, they had to deal with a couple hardships.
Oh my gosh. Nice little 2v1 right there. Yeah, they did have to deal with some tough hardships. I think this was a very like pure game when it comes to like rotations, technical skill. That's what I think was really required here to have some success. Look at that little bounce nade as well. And man, the plays that we're seeing here, Gary, all these players, man, it's just so insane. On another level.
Oh, wow, I didn't even notice that one. Okay, but they were able to get the pickup, and then Gary just defending their ground. UMP in the smokes behind that bus. Eventually, they were taken out, but they were able to acquire some points before going out at least. So that's a good thing because all these teams looking for those consistent points here in the Super Weekend. After 3 Super Weekends, top 3 go to the finals and pulling back to the Ghost fight, kind of just follow along with them. 8 kills at this point in the game, 23 minutes into the game. So they not only got the chicken dinner hot jukes, but a good amount of kills to go with it here this game.
Yeah, and this is what I want to see from Ghost is because, you know, we know that they have the ability to you know, play passive or get aggressive at a moment's notice. But I think because of their situation, because of all this pressure, we see them kind of play passive for like a half second longer than we would normally see it. I hope after this chicken dinner that, you know, that confidence really gets just sparked and they're able to turn that aggression on immediately when they need to.
So we were looking at the kills that game. Spec, I think, had 7 or 8 kills. So Spec with that UMP was definitely feeling it here this game. Congrats to them. And let's hear what the desk got to say about that Miramar match, Hot Jukes.
Yes, sir.
All I have to say is I was so close. I was so close. My guess was Fibonacci. They're gonna go on ahead and take that second place at least, though. Yeah, exactly. So close. But that was once again an exciting game that, wow, Ghost really went on ahead and was able to turn this around. You know, Zute, you kind of guessing that Ghost was gonna kind of take it chill this Super Weekend, but that chicken dinner says otherwise.
I was asking, is Ghost Gaming gonna, you know, wake up, or are they just gonna chill on by? They definitely woke up. 16 elims. That's the chicken dinner plus a really high elim game. Not just a regular elim game chicken dinner, but a super high one. But I want to give a shout out to Fibonacci as well. They did do pretty good. They didn't get that chicken dinner like you predicted, Spam, but they did pretty well still. 7.
They definitely did. And with Ghost, I mean, that's... Sue, you know what's crazier? That's their best game so far out of both Super Weekends. That's the most elims as well with the chicken dinner, and you were mentioning there too. S2G, I feel like we got to get some credit to S2G. We've been talking about them mixing it up and doing certain things. Well, guess what? S2G went back to like maybe day 1 of Week of League Play 1 by being able to just be patient and go for placement points. We do have the MVP right here, Mr. Spec, being able to collect those 7 elims and 1,259 damage for him. If I'm not mistaken, that might be the highest that I've actually personally seen from a player so far this tournament. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. Nonetheless, though, we are going to be looking at the Super Weekend rankings. Alpha 7 still being able to maintain that top position with 96 points. Keep in mind, this is just for this Super Weekend. Later today, we will be showing you the combination of those 2 Super Weekends, what it actually matters. With Knights here, 86 points. Besiktas maintaining themselves too there within that 4th place. And now we see Ghosts after that game. So, I mean, we were talking about it, right? You even called him out. At one point, we saw HH24 in the first game, though he wasn't doing anything. In this one, my boy sent it, and on top of that, he was able to collect some elims.
Oh yeah, he sent it on that team towards the end game in the car. He had 2 Ghost members covering him. Beautiful play. I made a joke about HH falling asleep right in game number 1. Tell you what, he definitely was not asleep when he was driving that car into another team, because he drove in and just wiped them out. Ghost Gaming looking really dominant, but we always talk about Ghost Gaming's consistency, right? Is this just like a one-off thing? Like, you know, they'll just come up big this game, and then next game they'll just be chill again. Like, it's like we never know what kind of Ghost Gaming we're gonna get, but we do know they can always pull it off. They always end up near the higher ranks, man.
that they do. So, I mean, that means that's probably a good vote for people to go on ahead and do. I kind of already talked about the fan vote, but what we can also do during this is get treasure boxes as well, if y'all didn't know. It's a PMGC exclusive, and all you have to do is go into the Esports Center, watch PMGC live on YouTube or in-game there, get the PMGC token, and redeem it to the PMGC permanent items in the PUBG Mobile Esports Center. There are 2 more treasure boxes coming up during PMGC, and you can, of course, find more information from the in-game Esports Center. Yeah, look at it down there. And we already asked you guys the first question of today on who your dream PUBG Mobile team would be. Well, we have another, and that of course is, what is the best way to eliminate the enemy? Punch, run over, or headshot? I feel like this is a hard question in my opinion, because
easy.
All of them. Oh, easy.
Yeah, easy.
I feel like
YouTube
they
chat,
each have their
I would
own
love
flavor.
to see. Sorry, Sven. I was gonna say I would love to see the responses there from you chat. Personally, for me, I think you punch them. That's just the best way to go about it. What do you think?
I got
Sue?
the best answer. I got the best answer. You know what the best answer is? You throw a pan at them for the chicken dinner, because that actually happened over on the east side. That's a real thing. I think they forgot to include the pan kill. I think the pan kill is the ultimate way to finish an enemy off.
Honestly, not wrong. Gotta say though, the runovers are always really amusing to watch as well during matches. So I don't know. I'm kind of definitely not headshot. That one's but punch, runover, pan, good choices. But of course, you guys can go on ahead and answer that in the chat. But otherwise, we're gonna be swinging on over into a break because our next match will be coming up shortly. So see you guys soon.
Already put down, but you can see the zone. Even one tick deleting through that health bar as they continue to move back and forward. But a nade
is the team that is on the edge lines, and S2G has found themselves right in the smack center. Unicorns love getting charged up on by Fibonacci.
The only now outskirt team still to make it inside, still unsuccessful here is Mad Bulls. Fibonacci here from one team, taking out another to the third, then to a nade.
Exactly, and another circle as well ships out here, but not really a lot of cover to work with. Eastern Stars is the team that is on the edge lines, and S2G has found themselves right in the smack center. Unicorns love getting charged up on by Fibonacci. A 2-man falling.
On the push, as they come over the hill, the smoke's already put down, but you can see the zone. Even one tick deleting through that health bar as they continue to move back and forward. But a nade, that's a double. That's a silencer that you need for Rise to stop the push.
Can almost make out the shoulder of Silas. Silas looking to make some moves. Gary takes some shots. Going to be receiving a lot of the shots from Silas. Silas going to be getting chunked out from Papa Blue. Probably going to go out the Papa Blue, and we're looking at...
And that's more importantly positioned for them to then catch out Supermassive plays at a later point. Is unfortunately Fibonacci. They've been spotted by Zeta Texas. There go to be so easily run over, even if it is by S2G.
Exactly, and Unicorn's love as well is not really far away from Ghost, right below them at 96 points. And look at this, A7 Carrio finds one, finds second. Oh, a one-man army striking again.
S2G, another nade, goes wide, but it's not enough. 1-for-1 trade, it's now all down.
1v1
for himself. It's a 1v1, rightly so. Golden versus Silas as he dips around, but the eyes, they're so strong for Black Dragon. Still those non-first down numbers, giving the information away for Golden as he steps away over the hill.
Oh no, Silas going to be cooking a grenade, going to be tossing a grenade, chunking down just a little bit of Golden, but Golden going for that return out here. And Silas knows Golden probably looking for this pickup, probably looking for this revive. I don't think it's going to be possible. Golden needs to make sure to be locked and loaded, ready to take this engagement. Silas going to be pushing with the UMP, going for that spray down, about 50% HP.
Welcome back. It is, of course, PMGC West League Super Weekend 2, Day 2. And we're about to be getting into our third match. So it's going to be our second Erangel match. And after these first 2 games, curious to see who's going to go on ahead and take this next one. There we go. There's the schedule. Just so you guys can go on ahead and get a refresher. We got a game from Footballist, a game from Ghost. Kind of curious to see who's going to go on ahead and take this next one. I mean, Sute 7, so far all of our predictions, we've been wrong.
Yeah, that's just how predictions go sometimes, right? But if you guess one thing enough times, you'll get it right. At least that's my strategy. Looking at the most damage for that match. Of course, Spec is up there. He got the MVP as well, but it's good to see Xenox here too. Xenox coming in with 1,065, and HH, he had 702 damage, but I think HH was one of the more crucial players there towards the end. You saw that push that he did that wiped out that side, that gave Ghost Gaming the control for that late game 7.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking about Navi.
Oh,
I was thinking about Navi
streaming
in that
them.
Miramar because they got eliminated by a team that I wasn't even expecting. They got eliminated in a way that seemed a little bit hectic too. And to be fair, they didn't get a single zone in that last match. Every rotation that they tried to do, it was completely the opposite. So I'm just over here daydreaming about what's going to be happening in that next Erangel.
I could tell you were completely distracted. You were just like staring off in the distance. You know what you were probably dreaming about along with Navi? I bet it was 1 + 9 and 9 Pro. Yeah, look at your face. I got you. Because with flagship performance and an immersive 120Hz display and hypertouch technology made specifically for gamers, 1 + 9 and 9 Pro are your best shot to climb the leaderboard. So honestly, that makes sense. Maybe you're thinking about Navi and 1 + 9 Pro at the same time. There's 7, but of course, since I already threw it on over to you, I think it's time to get down to our predictions once again going into our second Erangel match.
All right, this one's going to be a little bit different. Last time I picked Navi, they let me down. So maybe there's some caster curse here that might be going on. So I'm going to do a reverse caster curse. Hopefully, we'll see how it works. I'm actually going to be picking Alpha 7. I know, Sute, you said you're going to be picking them all day, right?
Yeah, I thought we weren't picking the same ones.
Nah, it was just that Miramar match. Oh, now.
Okay, I thought I would get to keep Alpha 7 all to myself because, you know, like, I want all the Alpha 7 power. So my prediction, as you guys in chat have probably predicted as well, it is going to be Alpha 7.
Not again. I think we just completely chose our first match predictions once again because I'm going to go with the Knights again. So it looks like we have 2 Alpha 7s and a Knights once again. I mean, this time one of them surely has to go on ahead and take it. I think both of these options are very strong teams that could potentially go on ahead and actually be taking this Erangel match. I assume that's why we keep going on ahead and choosing them specifically for this. But
Knights
we'll
is a
just
strong
wait and
pick,
see.
though, man. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
a
agree.
solid pick.
I agree, especially since they're clearly showing up in this Super Weekend. That just excites me, you know? Like, okay, yeah, they're definitely coming back. They're bringing all of their magic that they've been happening over into the League Play, into the Super Weekend. So that's kind of why I'm just like, I'm holding out for the chicken dinner for them now at this point. It's all like, okay, you already shoved it in my face. Now go on ahead and do it some more, you know? It makes sense to me.
Did they lure you in? You I think you said that you didn't expect them to do that well this Super Weekend. Now they start to do well. They're like, come over here, be on our size, man. You know you want to.
It's like out of kind of anger. I'm not quite sure the emotions. I'm still figuring it out myself. But we'll just have to wait and see if they'll be able to go on ahead and win this one, or if you guys will be right with the Alpha 7 pick. But we're just gonna launch right on into it on Erangel for a third match with Highland Wolf and Necro.
Thank you very much, Bancargo. We're headed up. Third game of the day. We're in the middle portion of the second day of the second Super Weekend. Necro, I think we've seen some really interesting games so far. I mean, first, then we had Ghost Gaming coming out with a win. A little bit griefed towards the win with the help of S2G. Feels bad for Fibonacci, but I think that overall, coming into Erangel, Fibonacci have been looking strong, but I tell you who else has been looking strong in my eyes, and we talked about it just before getting in on this game, is actually Besiktas. I just wanted to have a quick moment and mention the carry potential on Enjoy this Super Weekend has been a step up for Besiktas overall.
Yeah, Besiktas definitely have stepped up, but if you talk about teams that need to step up, it has to be Bullock. Still all the way in the bottom of the leaderboards, they need to do something. Their playtime's over now. This is where they need to put on a real game face. But I saw the analyst desk as well, like, you know, going for the predictions, so I feel like, Jake, we should also try and make a little bit of predictions. I'm going with Black Dragons. What are you going with?
Oh, I mean, you can tell my favorite, right? Besiktas, I think that Enjoy, the carry of his team, has been really stepping up for me. Personally, I have faith. We saw them take one game already on Erangel this Super Weekend, but I'm really interested to see as well if we can get those repeat Super Chicken Dinners, because I think Footballist, they could be on track to at least getting 2 in today. I mean, they are up against tough opponents. So, I mean, Unicorns of Love have looked fairly strong, and I think overall it's going to be a very difficult zone on top of that, considering that that was a very westerly shift through that first phase. I mean, there wasn't many teams considering also that more eastern-fronted playing path. So actually, as a result, we're going to see a lot of congestion coming in around that more Roshok lying down across mainland Erangel towards that Potato Hill side. You can already see teams, of course, making their way early through into that zone to try loot up later in players. Footballists, back to that fight, of course, will confirm 1 against the rest of Unicorns of Love. And Unicorns of Love, you can see, unfortunately, with that knock and with that kill against them, they have to run for the hills. They don't have that position there, a little too split. But not just them that's fighting. Nice and Papi Potro, too, in the midst.
Papi Potro looking to challenge this one. Just closing his distance inside the compound, trying to get real up close and personal. But here comes the backup from Knights as well. And we do see the rest 2 players just ramming their recoil inside the compound. Papi Potro doesn't have an automatic gun. Has a little bit of Mini 14 in the hand. He's not going to be able to retaliate back, so Papi Potro will be put down to sleep. And while the backup from Furious Gaming is just going to return, he's too scared. He does not want to fight the unstoppable force of Night. So now Furious Gaming, they're on a retreat. But on the other hand, on the military base, the silence has broken. Unicorns of Love, they are fighting against Footballists. Footballists, of course, the winner of the first game of Erangel. But at this time, it seems like they're getting dismantled by Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, I mean, Unicorns of Love, they have found that initial knock back onto him, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade in Footballist. You do have that revive back up, and of course, they did take away what one of Unicorns of Love, but you can see they're not quite done yet. Lin's position on that high angle, very, very crucial for Fresh here. Getting in is that base of fire. Fresh going to have that frontline opportunity when that's a distraction. You've got GK first coming in, Lin on the backside. That's still real carry, so that's who you want to get across that wall and into Realm and Lovers In. But Realm's position here on the back, very equally important, because Realm is in charge with Lovers In of keeping that back line away, and I think that Footballists, they know that something's up here. Unicorns of Love have been very passive these last 30 seconds, and as a result, they are starting to check those flags. They're starting to check where are these members of Unicorns of Love, and keeping tabs on those players so important, which is why you can see Footballists have gone to that 2-2 split to get that wider angle of information.
Unicorns of Love definitely taking their time to think inside this one, which is quite appreciated, but still, they're a man down. On the other hand, Footballists, they're looking at a 4-man strong squad. They could have tried and capitalized when they got that initial knock on the Footballist, but still, instead, they opted to play out a little bit more safer. GK first, finally making some moves, might just reveal his position to the players of Footballist. But now it's a complete stalemate, and I'm not really expecting this stalemate to break out until at least a couple of more minutes. Fresh is there quite close. If he gets even more closer, he will have a fresh start to the game.
That's going to be the knock if it does it, though. Fresh finds it with the help of Lin. Soulgate's going to fall down. He should find a revive. Almost a return onto GK first. As the Nate won't take them down 100%, but you can see Fresh, Lin now closing in on the gap. They're trying to use the pressure of Soulgate down, but Soulgate has been revived, but they'll use that pressure as Footballers try to collapse in, and Ram will drop 2, and now he might have the upper hand as they turn it back into a 3-on-3 as Ram, he'll drop.
Ram drops down, and Fresh now on the aggressive footing over here. Makes his mark inside the house. Lutz is in the front lines. Fresh realizing the exact same thing. Isn't really overextending though, and talking about overextended Lutz this time. He's going to be catching a little glimpse of Fresh, and that's going to be enough to put him down. And now Footballists, they do know there's another man all the way up top on that little bit of high ground, and it's Lin. He is trying to put on as much as pressure as possible, but still, Fresh is pretty much a gone case at this point. There's no way they're going to be able to get Fresh back up on his feet, and Lutz, that's quite a quick peek as well. And just like that, Unicorns of Love, early exit from this game.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit too aggressive there from Lin. You can see that they're trying to keep information as well as heal when they're so low, whereas actually you can't do that when you know that Footballists are there on that rooftop. And rightly so, they get punished for that. I think a little bit of over-peaking coming through from Unicorns of Love, and they do lose all their lives from that as a result. But I think that the damage has been done right. I mean, Footballists, Unicorns of Love, we're now 7 minutes into the game, and you can see through that map that they're over and over And actually, that zone is gone away from the Southwest Island. It's gone over from the South Island up towards that western side zone, should I say. And as a result, Black Dragons, they're starting to gatekeep that western bridge. Means that probably you're looking at footballers that have to cross that eastern bridge and actually fight their way through that mass of players in around, as we said, that Pachinki side area. As you can see, they have actually started to roam up all of them together.
Speaking about S2G, I saw Dave talking about how S2G are trying new things while trying to maintain their top position. Now, I don't really know if they're going to be able to maintain the top position because A7 had 231 points in the previous kind of overall rankings, and then S2G only had 235. So you can see not really that big of a difference in the top 2 places. So maintaining that top place for S2G now, it's going to be quite tough, and trying new things. And so this kind of lobby, we do know it's already going to be a little bit of step up from the side of H2G. Yeah, if they're trying to think for the future, this can be a really good thing. But again, if they do want to maintain their position, I feel like they will have to stick to their main gameplay.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, actually, with the fact that S2G, they've lost that lead, right? That they had so dominantly coming out of that first Super Weekend, and you can see it's minimalized only to now 7 points behind A7. Calci in a little bit of bother as well, as Rise have began that push. The Brazilian squad aiming up the nades on top of Calci, but with the support there of Silas Pew and also Timber, even also Rip7 now coming in as a 4-man crew, means it's not so easy to push that situation. Rise, of course, keeping it up where we saw the rest of the footballers take that first chicken dinner right earlier today. But you can see that their position slightly more spread. S2G have laid in down the smoke road, and it will escape for now. So S2G not looking for the offensive push, but speaking of offensive, Black Dragons not in this position in that compound, but elsewhere, and still looking for the shots, as unfortunately does look like they cannot find them themselves.
Previous game could have been Fenerbahce's chicken dinner, but still, just a last man from the side of H2G, it was Kelsey, just completely screwing them over, completely griefing their game. Fenerbahce, again, they're just left with 0 chicken dinners on their name up till now, but their performance has been up to the mark for sure. On the other hand, yeah, if you talk about Black Dragons, they got a pretty clean rotation all the way from down south now to up west. They're pretty much in the center of the zone, but we talk about rotations. Bullock, this game is quite important for a team Bullock, and while A7, they're just rubbing the salt on their wounds. They take 1 man down from Bullock. A7, they're looking quite good on the top, on the charts, but Bullock, they're all the way in the bottom, and they need to strike back in this fight. If they're not really able to, well, A7, they're going to be easily able to capitalize onto a team like Bullock, and well, Bullock, we do know there's a lot of things on line for Bullock, and they need to try and do something. Mafioso Cario already been taken down. Senetex is still all the way in the back. And, well, the position that Senetex has found himself in is quite tricky. Takes a couple of shots from Maidon, but he's able to get back to safety in the nick of time.
But, I mean, Maidon is so far away from that fight, right? Bullock, I think they're making a slight mistake. It's surprising, actually, A7, they've also decided to split so far. And because it took that slower, actually, Bullock, with the help of Maidon, despite being so far away from that fight, has actually been able to pincer away Senetexa. And they've been able to find that revive. He didn't even confirm that kill. So, despite all of those knocks that went over onto the way of A7's side, it's actually Bullock who came out massively on top with those 2 kills. It's very interesting to see that A7, a team that we know for being very aggressive and finding those kills, are already reduced down to that solo member, and barely a solo at that.
Oh man, that's not really a good start for A7, but again, they are looking pretty good on the overall ranking, so it's not really going to be bothering them quite a lot. Still have 1 last man alive. Senetexa can always try and go for those placement points just to maintain that consistency. But on the other hand, talking about consistency, Na'Vi definitely not really having a great start for today, especially in that previous game. Got kind of that late rotation, and wait, I'm going to hold on to my words. Na'Vi putting the final nail in the coffin for A7. A7 taking out the way now. Na'Vi, they won't really have to worry about them clashing again in rotations.
Yeah, right. I mean, A7, they just cook that bad fight against Bullock, and I think they pushed in too hard coming in over Severny, and then they expected Bullock to be there, and then they push in onto that Northern George post side. I mean, knowing that Na'Vi make this type of rotation, they are going to be there. So a slight mispositioning again through from Senetex, and not playing it slower towards the edge of that blue zone, knowing the direction and who they were coming into. But that zone, it of course has centered. in phase 2 towards that Gatka field side. So you can see that around again, there's top 6 compounds. You can see S2G, they started to hold that position up. Also in towards them, the likes of those just below Black Dragons, looking over Supermassive Blaze as well, heading in on towards that center spot. So valuable, considering, as we say, how flat around Gatka Fields is, Necro, and actually coming down off those mountainsides. So tricky in the event that we do see more of that western shift over to the edge of the G of Gatka and in towards those hospital fields. And unfortunately, looking back, of course, at those highlights, right, Baluchatan, they wish they didn't have to see that on camera, but we get to see all the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the production being savage, man. Just got blown to smithereens in that vehicle. Bullock didn't really have that great of an ending in that previous game, but this time it does seem like they are doing quite good, at least up till now. A team like A7 being handicapped from A7 from Bullock, that's quite insane in my opinion. But yeah, this next circle is going to decide a lot of teams' fate. And yes, guess what? S2G having quite an instrumental position inside the circle. They can make a lot of things happen. On the other hand, next Ruya as well, they're looking quite great. But I do want to know, do they have a safe cover to work with? Bullock, oh, what's going on?
Not again.
With this? Oh, no.
Not again. Don't do it to me.
Be safe, please.
I mean, he's stuck. He's stuck right now. He's put himself in reverse. He's healing up in the zone because phase 3, it hurts. And they're still in taking out more east western side bridge, let's say, across George Pole. So it's going to be a longer rotation in on in. But Na'Vi, who control that, that is the right decision to do. Baluch of Tana wanting to take that fight, especially as the blue zone is closing in, and Na'Vi, as a result, will take control of that Everest side. I think that Na'Vi, a brilliant position here. Top informational control coming over at mountain side, and they'll be able to utilize the edge of those ruins as well. A lot of those teams trying to find that flank side in, avoiding Gatka, thinking it can use ruins. Yes, it could be trickier to navigate in, but I'm so thinking it, not many teams will gatekeep that. But Na'Vi, they'll be there as Black Dragons also Aton in towards, of course, that northern side. Or heading north, should I say, of Black Dragons in towards Aton to Gatka Field. As you can see it, Aton not wanting to get stuck in this flat zone. And Black Dragons maintaining control of this hill. And this is what it's always going to be about here, Necro. Inside this phase 3, it's going to be controlling those flank sides, because those flanks, catching those rotations from teams trying to avoid fights, trying to play for placement points, that's what you want. And I think you can see it's getting caught out on more of this eastern side. Pachinki is out of card. He'll fall. A nade, double will find it, make it a triple. Is out, put him completely down in the dirt, and Coops is left on his own.
Coops, the only man alive in this fight. He needs to make a lot of things happen. A lot of eyes on him as well. Xenox is there all the way in the back. Zessi moving quite close to Xenox. I think so. He was oblivious about Xenox's position, and now Zessi left in a huge disadvantage. Xenox having a little bit of high ground to work with. He can try and take him down, but still, Besiktas didn't realize Knights, they're quite handicapped. They're big time handicapped. Chico not really overextending himself, instead playing this out a little safe. He does realize pushing against Besiktas wouldn't really be the best of the choices he makes in this situation. Nate's being lobbed in from the side of Besiktas. Try and find Xenox, but that's not going to be the case, at least up till now. Zessi, he might just meet his own maker, but the problem is the position that he got, he put himself in this tricky situation.
Yeah, Zessi went in through 1v1 right onto the Xenox. They thought they could control Coops, but I think what they're really trying to do is, you can see this blue wall, of course, inevitably coming behind Knights. I think they're trying to play Knights against the blue zone as that third team almost, but they didn't expect this, right? This next Roy coming in behind to actually stop Besiktas, and now we've got this problem of trying to third party with the blue, actually them being third partied by an actual team as Zessi cannot get in to the rest of his fight. It has to try hold off against Knights, I have to think, and it's up to the 2v1 of Kudor, but Kudor will give some breathing space as they'll step further back. Knights now making that really wide southern rotation in towards Pachinki to completely avoid the fights, and I think this is great for next Royer. Although they could have still punished Besiktas, they see that the zone has gone over to them, and actually they're taking control of those higher ground hills, again taking control of that compound, knowing that Besiktas, they've got to still walk in on them in this direction, otherwise take that riskier route round ruins.
I mean, next Royer had quite a huge split, right? They were in a 2-2 split trying to third party that, but in the end did realize, okay, it's not really worth it. We might just lose our position inside the zone, so decided to retreat back. Aton now getting charged up on by Ghost Gaming. Cardi being taken out. equation. Milos is all the way in the back, and he's on a retreat. He's on a run. He does not want to fight Ghost Gaming. And Ghost Gaming just peppering down bullets onto Milos, just hoping that maybe they'll find one knock on him. And guess what? The cover's moving. He moved out of the moving vehicle. And that's why the buggy's on a move as well. He's not really going to be finding himself behind that buggy. And he's taking a lot of shots. And finally, he will be put down to sleep. Ghost Gaming putting the final nail in the coffin for that team. And Black Dragon's getting charged up by Supermassive Blaze. Having quite a rough day over here. And Supermassive Blaze, Tron is down quite low. GC God goes down, and now this leaves Black Dragons with only one man alive. But no, scratch that. Golden's still alive there. He wasn't able to patch himself back up. He's going for that res on to Fallen Man, but is he going to be able to do so? That's a huge question for my side. Golden and Fukuisen, the only 2 men alive. Tron is there in the clotheslines. But Supermassive Blaze looking to flush him out with those nades. Not really finding any connections yet. And guess what? I just feel like it's going to be a complete stalemate unless Supermassive Blaze, they do get their cavalry over here.
Yeah, Supermassive Blaze, they are going to bring in that cavalry right, so it means Savien's going to sit on that high ground, keep an eye on Black Dragons, but it should be full sending it here. There's no way that Savien can really aid in this fight up that far away, and you can see Mo is thankful for it, but a double nade, make it onto Golden, onto GC God, and they're both going to drop, and now Supermassive Blaze, a massive advantage in the fight is Tron. He cannot find, though, that advantage to fruition, because GC God, he's still going to defend his team. He's still going to find a fight. And now Savien walks in a 1v1. Can he find it?
What?
No, he cannot. And Supermassive Blaze, they're dropping despite they having the advantage. Savien taking it way too late in that fight. And Kef, I think he will also fall. And Black Dragons, they'll defend this compound. And it wasn't a surprise seeing how Supermassive Blaze played that, though. Those one engagement coming in on that building. It should have been a 3-man push, and because they didn't play it as a team, they got punished for it, Necro.
The final man being taken care of by Ghost Gaming. And well, guess what? They just got helped. Oh my god, Black Dragons, they have to consider themselves a lucky bunch at this time. They were quite low, but they still were able to hold it off against them. And now Rise again here in the compound, spotting out the players of Black Dragons, taking a couple of shots. GC got out in the open. He just has the smokes to work with, but they're going to be fading away with time, so he needs to find himself a better positioning, at least for now. GC God is left out in the open, but still, Black Dragons, with that quite a bold rotation, they're being caught off guard. They're taking a lot of shots onto themselves. They're not really able to make it to safer grounds. And Rise, look at this. Gary's on a push. He doesn't care about anything. He wants the final man down. He's just moving around with the buggy, just lapping around the final man. He wants the prey. And guess what? Romaluzny as well falls down. And well, GC got the only man left alive in this. And Rise might just be caught. And yes, Ghost, they get their eyes locked on Rise.
Yeah, this is why Gary was moving, because you can see that you have to be the moving target. As soon as you stop, they drop. And Rise are down to 2. And look at that zone shift as well then, Necro. It's gone all the way over to Knights, over towards Next Warrior. And these are the 2 teams that can really benefit from a westernly to east shift, such as this in Phase 5. S2G, we're going to surround Myth. They're going to feel as bad as they're going to clean up that kill. Furious Gaming, they've been stopped, though, on their tracks into zone. I think the S2G is a clear out Mythic. They should have this control over Furious Gaming, also entering their way into zone. But the problem is, they're still going to play on this uphill side. And all of these teams higher up, like Na'Vi, yes, outside the zone, but also like Knights, right inside, looking down upon them, can have that angle above them to be able to shoot them down.
Oh, S2G being the cleanup crew, just cleaning up that ground. They've got themselves, or at least surrounded themselves with those vehicles. Smokes as well being utilized just to try and buy as much as time as possible. They do know they're surrounded from all the different sides. S2G, the smokes are the only last hopes left for them. Ghost having the high ground. They can make a lot of things happen with this position, only if they play this to perfection. HS24. Oh, if he moves a little bit too closer to players of Rise, Nunes might just find an easy knock on the Ghost, and that's not really going to be good news for them. But look at this nade from Mufasa. If I'm not wrong, yes, finds 2. Kelsey and Timber goes down. Silas in the front lines, still trying to hold them off at bay, but is that going to be successful? That's the question. Silas again, another nade catching onto himself. Down quite low. Another nade sails right in. H2G. Oh, they might just be taken care of, but no, they're still able to hold on.
Ghosts, they're making that push, they're making that hold, and it's that brilliant play just above the ridge where it can't be shot at, but we can keep all of that vision with a third party over them. And HH24 is playing it brilliant with the help of course, Rise and those beautiful nades onto them. But it's S2G, who despite being naded by the rest of Rise, will still take Rise out anyways with the help of Phase 5. And now they'll survive, moving in. But it's Ghost, 11 kills in this game. And my worry was, how do we get across this road? Well, they've got across that, then Necro. Now it's just about pushing further in on that zone because they've got a massive game potentially here coming towards them.
Oh man, Ghost is just looking so unstoppable up till now, having all 4 of their players alive. They have the high ground to work with, have a lot of info to work with as well at the same time. Timber goes down from S2G, a huge knock. Now S2G left with only 2 players to work with. Nunes on the right side. Nunes can try and play the spoil sport, but guess what? Instead, he's trying to spoil the game of it. Ghost finds one, looking to find a second wall, but still not going to be that easy of a task. Beowulf goes down, retreating back, and Spec connects the final bullet. And that's going to be it. Rise taking out the game in 8th position. S2G is still barely alive, still barely holding on to that position. Has those smokes to work with, but as soon as those smokes fade away, that's when S2G will be vulnerable.
S2G, they're making that move, but they have to go. That zone is closing in, Necro, and look it behind them. This is a real problem. Navi still firing down on top of S2G. They can't get out. They'll fall down and Ghost to clean up the fight, but now we turn our attention to Navi in the midst of a fight here between Next Roya and Besiktas. Is Zessi down and down to a solo they're going as Sun HP. There's no way it helps him playing on different fronts.
Oh man, so many fights happening, and we kind of took our eyes off of Navi. They're still in the game with 3 players. They're looking pretty good up till now, and Besiktas now, look at here, in this fight, Next Ruya, kind of striking in. Besiktas still have 3 players in this one. Next Ruya, seems like they're crumbling down slowly and steadily. They're getting dismantled, but on the other hand, Besiktas as well, they're taking quite a lot of damage. And while Next Ruya, somehow they're able to win those individual duels, but all the way from the back, it's Bullock striking in.
Polo Chapter, Necro, they flanked their way into the top 4. We needed to see this improvement. We heard Dave talking about moving in, trying to get those placement points, not taking those fights. Third party, and that's the third party Dave was looking for. It's Ghost. They'll be blowing into smithereens, cooked like the rest of the players on a grill. Is Navi down to just 3. Ghost equally down to 3. Down to 2 though. Is Ghost whittled away. Matic behind a tree. The bark defending him for now, but is the bark as good as the bite? Is Na'Vi. He can't find that confirmed through. It will be the revive, and problem for Na'Vi is now, where's that zone going to go? Where's Phase 7 going to go? Who's it going to decide? Because Beowulf down, they are struggling. They cannot find these knocks without the trades. That's the problem here.
Oh, the trades are happening back and forth. Na'Vi, they still have a man falling down. Meku is the man. Matic, I'm pretty sure he has a little itch on his hands. He needs to get Meku back up. Is that going to be the case over here? That's the question. And guess what? Tixie, with a little bit of pixel being spotted, he was going to be taking care of that player from Ghost. And now closing the distance onto his players. Tixie, this is his chance to move in forward. This is his chance to try and work on it. But again, is he going to be able to capitalize? That's the question. Nade being cooked from his side. He's lobbing the nade. It might just sail right in. And Ghost, they need to watch out from this one. It's $1 million nade. And will it connect? And guess what? Tixie, the $1 million nade makes it work. And Bullock as well taking care of now. And this is where Na'Vi is left against Besiktas. You said, man, Besiktas, they're going to be having a good game. They're going to possibly win this game, but that just doesn't really seem the case. They don't have the man advantage to work with, but still, we have seen a lot of 1v2 clutches.
Look, we see it from Enjoy. Now it's Sun HP's time to step up. Can he also make the 1v2 happen? If it happens again, I'm going to lose my mind, Necro, because Besiktas, their potential to steal games away has been maddening so far already in this second Super Weekend. They're walking towards, of course, that airdrop going to be vital for some form, of course, of blockade coming in on between Na'Vi. But look at Matic's positioning on that high ground hill. So beautiful. You can see in the way that they're spreading on this low and this extreme high, so spread apart. it's going to be so impossible for Sun to take down one, turn to take the other without getting shot to oblivion. And this is why splitting so far is good, because it's a time between shooting one to the other. That is what they want.
Oh,
we don't have to worry about it. I mean, strategy isn't required when he gives himself away. And just like that, I mean, Sun HP, he's down. I mean, Na'Vi, brilliant chicken dinner. Of course, Necro coming in on that third game for themselves. I think that Na'Vi, generally, coming in onto the second Super Weekend, 7th? I'm tripping through time here, Necro. But second Super Weekend, right? They've stepped up so much from this first. And I think they are on this ball. They're on this spiral, growing bigger and bigger. They're going to become a big, big snowman. This ball is rolling high.
I mean, I gotta say, whenever A7 isn't really playing that well, Na'Vi is the one that steps up. That means A7, as the analysts as well were mentioning, they're kind of like their kryptonite, man. If A7 are being taken care of in the early games, that means Na'Vi are probably going to be having the game of their life. But on the other hand, this is how things really started off. Taking a look at the highlights, Unicorns Love, unfortunately, some questionable moves being made from their side, and they had, like, it cost them the entire game over here. But Ballis able to capitalize perfectly. They played this one brilliantly.
Yeah, Lynn again is over-capitalizing on it rightly, as we said, that healing and also peeking just too much. I think A7, this is where it all went wrong, right, though. They found that knock. I think they should have gone in under that dip, taken out the kill, because from here, it was Blue Chapter in amongst those kills. It actually stayed for that fight. It didn't work. They just got caught out anyways, and instead Texas walked straight in onto Na'Vi, and there they went, popped into the end of the world. I think it was all about these third parties. Generally, though, Necro coming in, you see it time and time again through these highlights, right? It's Baruhu was coming in later into that zone, the act of surprise, the advantage of that information coming in later on, taking capitalization. Even Ghost, you could see it over Supermassive Blaze.
Oh, that shot!
Oh,
that was a good shot. I could literally, like, hear the skull cracking. But yeah, I gotta say, Supermassive Blaze unfortunately got third party by Ghost Gaming in that fight, and that's why, well, the guys in the compounds were helped and they were able to survive for a little bit longer. Black Dragons, they have to count themselves in the lucky bunch. And now H2G, they just came in like a cleanup crew in the end circles. They were able to clean up the entire mess that was being caused by Ghost Gaming. But Ghost Gaming overall, they looked pretty unstoppable until Na'Vi. They were like, all right, it's time for the Alphas to go in. And Na'Vi just showed themselves, just proving that they're the Alpha Tines inside this one.
It was actually brilliantly played by Na'Vi because they didn't go in on that push. They knew that they had the problem in the zone, right, coming behind them, but they knew that also there was fighting going on inside of that zone, so they were praying that actually it was about the other teams obliterating each other and then stepping into that zone, as right as we said, the third parties, and Na'Vi stepping in with that nade. That was a beautiful game-winning nade that they needed to then take out also Baluk, barely coming over the hill, eyes on target, perfect every time. Tixi, what an MVP for Na'Vi stepping up in this game on that off angle, taking so many of those kills. But talk about what happened to A7, how Na'Vi clutched it away. Going back to the analyst desk.
Wow, okay, well, Zute, there's a lot to go on ahead and talk about in that match. I mean, okay, so there's Besiktas Esports and Blue Chapter, the two teams, this is their first super weekend they're in here. Na'Vi, of course, taking that win, and then, of course, our predictions that didn't work out. Just go ahead and take your pick.
So Ghost Gaming, good game. So back-to-back good games. I think they're here to stay. It's just classic Ghost Gaming starts off slow, and then they bring it back. But Na'Vi, I asked 7, is this a Na'Vi win or an Alpha 7 throw? Because they are tied in opposites no matter what happens. So did Alpha 7 throw, which caused Na'Vi to win, or was it the other way around, 7?
All right, let me break it down to you. Remember Wednesday, the last day of Week of League play, when I saw Blue Chapter coming in? By the way, Elian, congratulations on getting that MVP, but this is very important what we're about to talk about, all right? Remember how I told you with Blue Chapter being in Erangel, that team at some point was going to be an issue for either Na'Vi and Alpha 7? Do you remember that, Sue?
I do remember that conversation, actually.
And this is exactly, literally what happened. For some reason, Alpha 7, due to the playing path, they decided to go Lipovka right on that drop. And I think they wanted to hunt down Na'Vi so bad, they decided to try to go towards the north of George. But they must have been expecting Blue Chapter to either still be looting or not be during their rotation. They got caught during their rotation, and Blue Chapter, I mean, I gotta give them props. They came out, they were aggressive, they didn't back down from the fight, And ultimately, they ended up winning the fight, and they weakened Alpha 7 to the point where Navi was able to kind of go up to them and take them away. Overall, though, I'm very surprised by Alpha 7 by seeing them wanting to hunt down Navi that bad that it kind of cost them the game. So overall, I think it was a great game for Navi. I think they did amazing. They took every advantage that they had to themselves, especially towards the last circles. They were able to just third-party a lot of fights and collect all those Elim points, which I think it's huge, right? This is also going to be a confident booster for them. But I can't wait now for the last Erangel too, because after what I just saw, it just goes to show how bad Alpha 7 wants to take out Navi every single match in Erangel.
I gotta agree with that one. I want to give a quick shout out though to Besiktas, currently first place overall for just the Super Weekend number 2, and this is the overalls. Get to finally take a look at this, see how things have changed up. Not too big of a change. S2G still in first, Alpha 7 very close behind, the Knights in third, and one thing that also hasn't changed is Fenerbahce way up there in terms of points, but still 0 chicken dinners. Everybody else on that first page has gotten at least 1 chicken. Coming on to the second page right here, these are the overalls. This is all the Super Weekends combined, and you can see Besiktas missing 1 Super Weekend, coming in right now 102 points. They're actually first place for the second Super Weekend in terms of points gained, so they're doing a great job there. Baluk though, Choptan, still with only 30. They got 2 games left today, and they got 1 more day to secure some points, so maybe they could still bring it back a little bit harder, Span.
Oh man, that also of course means they've officially gone on ahead. Besiktas, they jumped over Mad Bulls. So that means they finally hit that threshold that we were kind of waiting for. And honestly, they're not that many points away from also catching up to Eastern Star. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. You're right about Blue Chopton as well. But let's go on ahead and talk about, once again, the treasure boxes that you guys are able to go on ahead and pick up. These guys, of course, want to go on ahead and get some treasure for themselves, getting into that last finals. But you guys can go ahead and get treasures as well. It's a PMGC exclusive treasure box. All you have to do is watch PMGC live on YouTube or in the in-game esports center. Find the PMG token and redeem it to get that sweet PMGC permanent items in that esports center. You can see it down there, the pan, the outfit, the parachute, everything that you can potentially want. Another thing that we have to go ahead and ask you guys again is we have another question. Which style of play do you think is the strongest, y'all? Do you think surviving for replacement or taking the aggressive fights?
Well,
no
that
mix.
one's easy.
No mix?
That one's
Go for
No
it.
mix. You have to choose one.
Aggressiveness all day. Like, if you can win every fight, there's no reason to like try and stay alive, because everyone else is dead, right?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, on the other hand, I mean, if you get into the end zone, right, and you get that top placement, doesn't that mean you at least got some other kills as well? I don't know. If you have to choose one or the other, it seems like they kind of coexist. Go on ahead and choose one of those. But y'all, there's only 2 matches left, and we're about to be heading into one of the most exciting matches, at least in my personal opinion, onto Sanhok. But first, we have to wait a little bit longer before that happens, because we're going to be tossing it to a break.
This section is inside before he didn't notice, and he's gonna run right with. Oh, surprise! Surprise!
NANI?! お前はもう死んでいる。
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. and I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration and the first steps. I am the 1+9.
PMGC West League Super Weekend 2 Day 2. We're about to be sending it into match number 4 over on Sanhok. As a reminder, I'm your host, Cargo, and I have Zute and the 7 Worlds Gaming with me here. And oh my goodness, just all the games so far. We already kind of took a look at the overall leaderboard so far. Zute, anything else that's really standing out to you before going into this next match?
The biggest thing that jumped out to me for the overall leaderboards was just Fibonacci with 0 chickens still. Like, will they get one ever? That's the big question now.
That is the big question. Oh man, it also looks like, okay, I know we kind of skipped over it before the break here, but we have to go on ahead and point out Alien Kid from Balut Chaptan's getting in that MVP position once again, and actually going head-to-head here with Matic from Na'Vi. I mean, 7, Matic, he was their MVP player, so that's a nice head-to-head to go ahead and achieve.
It definitely was, and I mean, you on this one here, most knockouts, you don't see Tixie far away from that one. Overall, Na'Vi just had an amazing match, right? That's pretty much what it came down to. But with Blue Chapter, and I said it earlier, I love their aggressiveness. This is something that I've been waiting for them to show us, for them to continue showing the aggressiveness. You just asked too, which one's your favorite style? My favorite style is when teams are aggressive and they try to go for it. Don't play passive. If you are going to play passive, I mean, if that's your style, it's okay. I personally don't like it. Aggressive. Go after those elims. Get those extra points.
Well, I love how that question was right now going into Sanhok, arguably the map where you need to go on ahead and be aggressive, and that's just going to go on ahead segue into our next predictions. This time I'm going to go first, though. Then we can go across in a line. I'm going to go on ahead and actually choose Rise, because I feel like, you know, we keep talking about those Brazilian teams going on ahead and just really showing up on Sanhok. Rise in this situation, I feel like they've been getting really close in a lot of Sanhok matches, so I'm going to go on ahead and put all my coins on them.
Well, for my prediction, it's going to be a Brazilian team, you know, because we're on Sanhok. And, you know, it's not because I'm picking them every game, but, you know, it's because Sanhok, Brazilian, Alpha 7. So, and before you say anything, 7, you're not allowed to pick them anymore, okay? You picked them last game, and I was not happy, 7, with your pick of Alpha 7 because they died very early. So, you do not get to pick Alpha 7 anymore.
You remember what I told you? I said I might be doing a reverse caster curse on him. I picked Na'Vi. Na'Vi did absolutely horrible. And then I pick Alpha 7. Alpha 7 gets eliminated in like 15th place. And then Na'Vi ends up winning. So, you know what? I'm going to see if I can break it here. I'm actually going with Knights. I want to see what Knights is going to be able to do. I feel like Knights, they've been able to get some elims here. They've been kind of quiet. I want to see that flashiness that they showed us again towards the end of yesterday. I'm pretty sure they have it. I want to see it again. I see Xenox too in the YouTube. Check them out. Xenox, show us what we want to see.
Ooh, well, the Knights won the Sanhok match yesterday, so we'll see if Knights will be able to go on ahead and hold that once again. But Alpha 7 also, arguably, they won a ton of Sanhok matches this entire event so far. So both of those really strong choices. I'm still comfortable sticking with Rise, though, because, you know, people keep saying Rise, Alpha 7, very comparable. I'm going to go ahead and choose Rise for this, and I think they're going to be able to rise above Alpha 7 in this next match. So that's who I'm kind of going on ahead and going with. But also, Sanhok, we already talked about the predictions for it. What other predictions can we go on ahead and expect? Zute, I mean, these hot drops that keep going, are we going to expect them to go on ahead and have it happen once again?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, S2G and Ghost Gaming, right? Both teams super comfortable in terms of points. They have nothing to lose if they get a big donut or a 0-point game here in Sanhok. What they're really trying to do is establish enough dominance to the point where come finals, one of these teams are going to be like, okay, we lost way too many times here during the league and the Super Weekend. We only got X amount of games to play with. There's a lot of money on the line. Let's go somewhere else, right? Like, that's what these teams that are hot dropping constantly are hoping they could iron out before going into the finals.
Shute, okay. We kind of saw it yesterday, I feel like. And I feel like maybe S2G might be the champion there, because yesterday on the Sanhok that we had, those two teams didn't hot drop each other. S2G actually went to, Ghost Gaming went to Painan, and then S2G decided to still go to Paradise Resort. So it seems like Ghost Gaming might be receding from that. I will be interested today, though. We've seen Ghost Gaming do this before. We saw it with Supermassive Blaze. When Supermassive Blaze first hot drop on them on Miramar, Ghost Gaming kind of backed off for one match. And then the next match that they played that exact same map, they went for it again with the hot drop. So I want to see if Ghost Gaming is going to be like, you know what, maybe that didn't work out yesterday. That's right. Let's just try to hot drop SG again. We're currently feeling ourselves. We're currently doing good too. I would love to see the hot drop again.
My next follow-up question then was going to be, at what point do you kind of stop the hot drop? Because it is good practice to go on ahead and assert dominance, as you said, Zute, but also wouldn't this be a good chance to go on ahead and actually practice a different drop before going into this finals? It looks like we don't have too long to wait, though, to see where Ghosts are going to go, though, because we're in our next match.
Thank you very much. Of course, the NLCS Transparent Cargo, Necro hitting it into our only Sanhok game. It feels bad, man. It feels bad also for Knights. We're talking about it. Rip Knights with the reverse throw. We'll see them win in Game 5. They'll take the chicken dinner. I'm convinced. Hopefully. 30+ points. Game 5, but man, I feel bad for them.
Yeah, definitely. I feel bad for Knights as well. Let's just see, though. Again, I mean, the analyst curse might just come true, right? I mean, Seven definitely has been cursing a lot of teams, and now he went with Knights. I do kind of feel bad for them, but still, hey, let's just not start judging right now, right?
We never know, right? They'll come out with the points later. It's like he's building them up for the future to come back with the points. They just don't get them immediately. It's like you know, one of those feet warmers, right? They take a little bit of time to get you cozy.
That's true, yeah, definitely. Warmers, as you mentioned, that will help them out quite a lot to at least try and get something done. But yeah, Knights, I feel like they've already gone a decent amount of warmers, right? I mean, we've already proceeded through like 3 games, and that's enough to at least warm yourself up. So Knights, this is where you need to start performing. But on the other hand, you have a team like Black Dragons. Now, I went with Black Dragons in the previous game, and unfortunately, they weren't really able to do that great, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, Black Dragons. I mean, we're talking about curses here. Necro, I've got something to say, right? I mean, I'm 1 for 1 so far. I mean, Besiktas did fairly well. Of course, they didn't get a chicken dinner, okay? They got second place. That's like as good as I do. But I mean, Furious Gaming, they're also coming out. Trigger Discipline with the help of Papi Potro. Going to be taken through 1 on to the rest of, unfortunately, their Fenerbahce. They'll lose another on that eastern flank. Heading in towards Knights, though. Speaking of them, they're going to start over in Painan. They got a little bit of walking to do, though, here, because Painan not the most optimal of positions. I mean, Boot Camp looking a little bit more centralized, of course. You have Ghost actually taking over at Hilltop, and to head back towards that path right up. A7, I'm glad that they started going over to that boot camp side. I wanted to see them try to take control of this compound. It is intriguing me that actually Ghost are the ones now taking over this hill immediately, taking this massive 4x1 split from the L compound all the way over to the back side of Boot Camp Hill towards the south into Painan. I think it's very split, and I think it could be something it could be punished by teams, but I love the way that they do it is it immediately now coming into this point move together in that 2v2, because that's what I want to see, getting that loot, getting that information, but not overextending, keeping yourself as that team.
I like the point being made from the analyst desk as well, right? As soon as how Ghost, they did realize things are falling apart in Paradise Resort, they decided to go for Plan B, and well, Plan B are the compounds that are right next to Painan. And this is how, taking a look at the replay, this is how unfortunate starting for Fenerbahce. Already Duke and Machine being taken care of. But yeah, getting back to my point, Ghost Gaming, it seems like they're not really interested in fighting S2G anymore. Instead, they're going to be playing for their safer game. And as you mentioned, A7, the classic thing that they really like to do is loot up boot camp as quick as possible and then take the hill control. But this time as well, it seems like A7, they're not really interested, Jake.
Yeah, they're going up towards that northern side, and I like that, though, coming through them. I think they're controlling, with Mafioso in that front line, this is Scout, very wise of them to actually take control of that edge of the riverside. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out for Ghost this way either, because Knights, their rivaling NA opponent, are just going to knock them out. Quick and simple, just like Gat. Xenok's going to strike himself a kill, and it does feel like the rest of Ghost on Sanhok, they're struggling here to really get out of the early game. I think they've not really been able to find that answer, because when they had this plan in mind, they've been picking spots that other teams love to go at, but they've not had the ability to take those clean fights and punish those other squads. They're the ones being actually almost the guinea pigs in the lobby, consistently losing 1-2 players at the start of every game in giving these kills over, making it so difficult for Ghost, as you can see later on, as we assume now with one less player, to be able to get into that later game phase, because they do really struggle to get into those final Sanhok zones.
Oh man, Ghost, yeah, already down to a 3-man squad. And Xenox was able to get a quick frag onto his hands. Beowulf tried to exit away, tried to run away, but didn't really expect Xenox to be there in the clotheslines. And now Knights, they get themselves this little compound control, but Footballists make quite a quick rotation between Ghost, and they're just not scared. Soul K able to make it out alive, HSG4 as well. Able to get a little bit of bullets onto the players of Footballists. Nothing really critical happening, only being taken down to half HP. Footballists looking pretty safe for now. They got that risky rotation successfully done, and now they will have to surpass Alpha 7.
Yeah, they do get away from now. Smart flank around the edge of the hillside, gets them out of harm's way. Quick and simple, but they are going to head into, right as we said, A7 are going to move in towards them. So they've got to now funnel in between 4 different teams, you could argue, if you count S2G as a worthy 2 or 3-1 split, should I say, actually. It's going to be Silas Pugh on his own towards Paradise Resort, which is a little bit risky, personally. I think, of course, they're trying to cross over slowly, as Ghost also will be found still by Knights. They won't keep the pressure up, as Tensor will be spotted, but firing back, Spec will take also one of Knights down to half HP. So they're going to be able to sit now up each and either side, but I think Knights probably should be giving this fight up. I think they're heading over around the backside of Bootcamp Hill, in around Bootcamp, the side of that river. Slightly better overall for getting in towards the center at zone, continuing to pressure through the rest of Ghost. Yes, it gets you further in. You might be able to take Ghost down, but you might lose a member or two. And there's still a lot of these teams, keep in mind, on that central belt of the zone. They're going to have to fight through, even if they do take that opportunity. So smarter just to play it slow. As you can see, a lot of these other teams on the outside of zone, like Na'Vi, like Unicorns of Love, like even Fibonacci, who, yes, have already lost one, play over on the outer flank. But so are Furious Gaming, and already taken, as we said, also one down of Fibonacci. Token Machine no longer here to help Nox Bomb, and Rebellion very far away. I think they're Nox. He plays it quiet. He's going to have to pull off the 1v3. Does find it, but he's sprayed too early, and he doesn't get a shot, so he has to reload, but he misses too much. And he'll fall down to 2.
Oh man, not really a great start again. And Fibonacci, they were already being handicapped by Furious Gaming, and now again finding another one. This leaves Fibonacci with only 2 players alive. Falky and Rebellion, the last 2 men alive inside this one. And look at Supermassive Blaze's rotation. I mean, we do have the map for you to see, but they're rotating all the way from the left, taking the water rotations, taking the water routes to make it inside the zone. Now, they will find themselves a safe cover if they decide to go right above Black Dragons, but still, Black Dragons, if they get their eyes on Supermassive Blaze, that might just be it. That might just be a done deal. On the other hand, S2G find themselves right in the smack center of the zone again. They're just so good at taking that central control all the time, but sometimes getting the central controls, S2G as well, they kind of gather a lot of attention onto themselves.
Yeah, it's something that they do handle so well, though, in that first Super Weekend, right? This was how they got so many of these high kill games, but you did talk about it also. The rest of Sun HP looking over Supermassive Blaze. And can they find him out? Well, he's got a jet ski, and I think he's going in for the kills. I think he spies some fishies. He is debating, of course, where to continue to walk further in as he does try to find those shots of spray down. But Supermassive Blaze, they are on out of there. You can see the front line, Keth and Co. have moved away. It's about now, can you save Savian? Can you save Crucera? Moving further is Enjoy going to step up on the vehicle, and now they'll go. Now they'll look for the kills. And Supermassive Blaze, they're still swimming, and they will be punished for this. You've got to think that even though that there's an airdrop coming towards them, they're about to be pinched down 2 more.
Oh, those are free kills right there. And Besiktas, they might just be able to rack up. But guess what? No, with Supermassive Blaze striking hard. And Besiktas, they already regret these decisions. Those are one of those instant regrets moments, right? Like you have those compilations, and well, this can definitely be one of those.
We'll
This
see
can
it
definitely
tomorrow.
be added in those. Yeah, this is like one of those instant regret moments for Besiktas. And now Enjoy7, the only man left alive. He's on a back foot. He does not want to challenge the fight anymore. He's trying to get himself back to safety, but he has a lot of distance to cover. And hopefully he doesn't really catch any more eyes from the players of Supermassive Blaze, because on the other hand, Supermassive Blaze, they need a little bit of help. Tron being taken care of by Bullock. Ilan Kid finds a free knock for himself. They're going to be easily taking that knock. Kill being secured. That's a 1 kill point being added for a team that desperately needs it. Bullock.
Look, Chaptan are going to just confirm away. I think what was some fairly easy kills coming in towards the Supermassive Blaze in amongst the water. There's not much really they can do about it. And so they land on the shoreline, and of course they were punished by the time they did enter up on in. To head back, of course, right, towards the center. This is where all the action is. I mean, we've seen fairly quiet, couple of picks here and there, but on the whole, it's been a very patient Sanhok game for this fourth match. I feel like it's a very stark contrast, right, Necro, from what we saw in that very first Sanhok on PMGC West, where everyone was dying left, right, and center. The kill feed could barely keep up, and now we've not even got a kill feed. It's not even there. There's not even knock.
Oh man, the Greedy Goblins, Supermassive Blaze being punished after that, left with only 2 players alive. Now my eyes are set on the Alpha 7. How they're going to be making it out from such a chaos right in the smack center of the zone. And there's a huge chance that they might just gather a lot of attention if they decide to take a couple of shots off on any of their teams that are quite close to them. Nice being one of them, they've got themselves that boot camp. So they're going to be looking quite good. They have a instrumental positioning as well inside the zone. But on the other hand, Fenerbahce taking a couple of shots on the footballist. And for Fenerbahce, I'm pretty sure their main game over here, their main game plan over here is going to be try not attract as much as attention as possible. Try to beat those assassins. Try to be those sneaky assassins in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's about slowly making your way in a zone like this. Can you find potentially that way further in on towards the center? I mean, Besiktas, they had crossed right hard in. That zone still very, very open, to be fair. You still have plenty of positions. S2G, nevertheless, are going to continue to control that center alongside A7. That's central aroused, as we said, across the center of Sanhok. But it's all about these roads. And I want to talk about it here as Rise. Fortunately, Gary might have to say something else about this, so.
Oh, it's close. Oh, Papi Potro taken down quite low. Gary almost could have caught a couple more bullets, but was able to retreat back to safety. Furious Gaming, clearly they do have the man number leading in this compound for now. But it seems like the cavalry's arriving soon from the back. Trigger doesn't have any cover to work with, taking a couple of shots from the front, even from the back, but still able to move back to safety in the nick of time. He's looking quite healthy for now. Rise, they're being flushed outside this compound. They don't really have a lot of breathing space to work with, but still the cavalry that is arriving from the back can make a lot of things happen. Nate quite close. Poppy might just run back into it, but no. Oh, I thought that could have been a little too close.
Oh, but Molly then though too, and I think this is about the rest of Rise, right? You see Mufasa, he's trying to find this very wide back flank to still surprise Furious Gaming by taking it a little bit wider. Instead, it's not really working out, and finally though, they will find the shots, and I think it's actually Mythic who might just save it. I mean, Mufasa, he doesn't need to be there, because he'll 1v2 anyways. And Mythic now steps out, can't find number 3, but the door's gone, and now he steps further back once more. Mythic cannot find turn-up point, but Big Milo barely escaping death. Is Mufasa. Nunes now stormed the charge over the rest of Furious Gaming. They'll clean up the knocks, and Big Milo, as he desperately tries to revive, they will lose Papi Potro too. They might just lose Trigger. Yes, they will on the backside. And I think this is Furious Gaming not playing it correctly. I mean, you're trying to stand it in, right, with one. Big Milo's still trying to heal. You have to play that together as a 2v3, 2v4 situation, but because of this, Furious Gaming, they surely lose this. All 4 players. This fight should be done.
Oh yeah, this fight definitely should be done. Big Milo just being pinned inside this little room. He's able to flush one out. He's able to knock one out with that Molotov. He's trying his best to hold on, but still it's looking quite impossible. He's able to take care of 2. Is he going to be able to take care of another one? But no, instead, the HP wasn't really favoring this man, and he got shut down instantly by Rise. And well, Rise now taking care of Furious Gaming. They're left with a decent compound on their name. They can always try and work on it. But still, they will need to try and traverse it inside the zone. And so far, zone, the way for a team like Rise, it seems like the zone's going to be quite easy to get in, but still to hold on inside that zone, that's going to be a difficult task. But Bullock over here, Black Dragon's Roma Luzny being spotted, trying to confirm the kill. Maidon not really able to get the line of sight on the fallen man.
Black Dragons, they do keep themselves under control. Keep in mind that S2G, in the midst of all of that fighting with Furious Gaming and Rise, they did fall in amongst this location, and of course they will again lose one on the replay. You just saw quickly there Black Dragons losing that rogue flank to the rest of Blue Chapter as it will close in, of course, from the northern side, past now Taknamok, inside the high ground. So they will have the information here of Black Dragons as they look to storm their own compound. But in towards that center, of course, the tricky decision, right? Na'Vi, I think, in this situation, do they cross over that river, or do they pray that it sticks towards them? Because they're going to have a tricky time. That is for sure their Necro, if they wanted to cross that river, but they have to do that now. That is their only opening, I think, in this situation, is by crossing over towards that island, sneaking their way in. But because they're not, you can see they're hoping that zone stays with them, and I think that Na'Vi are playing game a chance inside this next shift.
Dixie just trying to hold people off from the bridge. Still Na'Vi, as you mentioned, they have a little bit of hope. Maybe the circle will be shifting on the left side, but let's just find out if it's going to or not. This next circle shift is just so unpredictable. We just don't know where it's going to be shifting. Is it going to be shifting left? Is it going to be shifting right? We are left guessing. And you can already imagine the pressure on the teams as well to try and play off in these kind of zones. And guess what? Alpha 7, they are going to be the lucky bunch this time with Footballists. They have the prime positioning. They have the instrumental positioning. And well, with this, they can try and put on an impeccable performance.
Yeah, but you can see that Na'Vi, right? The zone's gone away from them. Such a hard shift. And as a result, Na'Vi, they draw the short straw. They do have to cross. I think they'll be okay. A shift like this does draw people away from boot camp, so they should get over that river. And it's not as bad, actually, for Na'Vi as you think. Had it gone towards boot camp and away from Na'Vi still, that would have been a lot worse. So Na'Vi, they're still counting their lucky stars, as it were, to stay inside of this game and inside of phase 4. But it's not going to be easy. It's still Rise also equally coming in. Gifted the zone, of course, very far away, coming in across that eastern side, but will be just entering up now to the heads of Blue Chapter as they pop over the hillside, though. We'll look to try to take back control. We'll look to take that vision, right? So crucial that they do stay prone here. Do not get spotted, because this is such crucial information gathering for Blue Chapter. Getting the eyes on Mythic, getting the eyes on Gary, and now allowing the rest of Blue Chapter to follow up, flanking round.
Sneaky Assassins Rise, moving inside the safe zone. But can you really call it safe zone when there's just so many teams out here trying to kill you? And now if you look at this is quite a crucial rotation, but still there's a huge chance that they might just be held off at bay. And this is the problem with always Na'Vi making those late rotations. They just don't have info to work with. They're catching a lot of bullets and they might just run into Rise or either Bullock. And well, this is exactly what I was saying. Lack of information causing Na'Vi this game. Kitsune is still able to slip past through a lot of eyes, but not anymore. Eyes being caught. The target has been locked. And Kitsune, the final man, the final hope of Na'Vi inside this game. They're not going to be able to last for long, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just who takes it, though. Is it going to be Baluk? Is it going to be Rise? Which nade lands first? I mean, it's a free kill waiting. The zone's going to get it up. The zone's looking to take it. The zone's the third part of this one. Rise, Baluk, they're not having any of it, though. They want to try confirm that, but Rise, they do send a nade, send Baluk, Chaptan back. And I think Na'Vi, the only thing they've done is upset Blue Chapter on that assassin move they were trying to play over to Rise by drawing the fire off them and allowing Rise to realize that there was someone there across that hill. There's the Besiktas. They will drop next in a kill feed. GC God. Black Dragons looking like they may be next as Na'Vi still hoping to find these kills, still hoping to find a way inside a zone, but the blue zone, as it does edge its way further away from them, the hopes do begin to slip.
Oh man, the circle moving on to Footballists now. A7 in the danger zone for now. They do have carry on the clotheslines, trying to at least secure a spot inside the zone, and Na'Vi. Take a look at this on the little screen over here. Matic able to confirm a kill for himself, but still they're taking a lot of damage from the blue zone. They're trying their best to tank it. But again, if things go south, you can always go for those heal battles. in the game of Sanhok, and this is what Na'Vi will probably try and do for at least to get a better positioning. Kitsune still alive outside the zone between two teams who are trying to eat him alive. Is he going to be able to at least try and fight back? That's the question. And well, this is where his chance might just be. He might just try and third party this entire situation. Bullock moving quite close to Rise. Mufasa gaining a lot of information and finally striking in. And guess what? Ghost Gaming over here, on the other hand, confirming a little bit of knocks for themselves. And Unicorns Love all the way from the far fray. Fresh able to get the line of sights on the Spect. Man falls down and Fresh able to confirm the kill.
But it's Rise who will not push further, though, Necro. We can't get past the third party, as you said. Unicorns of Love, but Luke Chaptan in behind them. There's too many players in on front, and what a gift of a zone, by the way, to football is here. I mean, we're not talking about it so much, but this compound is insanely strong for them because they're also splitting in with the entrances of that road. Everyone coming over the hilltops in onto them. No vision until they do. This is why these teams are trying to play it slow, but Knights, they just clean them up. Easy peasy, A7 will all fall. And they'll take it easily, 3 remaining to Alucard, Xenox, Coops. Moving really forward only, we'll lose Choco, and that was crucial, though. They keep those members alive, because getting over that hilltop, though, Necro, in on towards Footballist, they're going to need those members to be able to find some forms of flanked round, because Footballist, that square formation looks way too strong for the 360 control.
Oh, Unicorns Love trying to inflict heavy amount of damage with that high ground that they have gone themselves, but still, they were able to get a couple of men down from that spot. Fresh all the way from far phrase, doing a lot of damage. And well, guess what? This time, it's going to be doing the same thing. Alucard from the side of Footballist. Of course, they're looking quite safe for the compound they've gone themselves. And Unicorns of Love, though, the circle kind of shifting away, also giving the priority to Unicorns of Love to try and capitalize on this one. And Unicorns of Love, they are moving. They're taking their chances inside this zone. They have the most amount of zone occupied as well. And well, this might just be Unicorns of Love's game. They have the high ground to work with, as I mentioned. They have a lot of intel to work with as well. And a team like Knights, there's no way they're going to be able to retaliate back with the position that they've found themselves, right? Because they're going for that heal battle. They're going for that positioning game.
I mean, Unicorns of Love, they're doing the exact same thing, though. It's about who's going to survive. Right, I mean, Bullock, right, you have to also remember that Alien Kid is there on the back end, still way out in the outer depths of the blue. That is the ocean of the blue zone, as Knights will lose another. Xenox will be the last to fall, and Unicorns Love once again secure themselves top 3 finish with a healing strategy, but a zone that moves in towards Unicorns Love and away from actually Footballist. This might be a game that Unicorns could just snipe away with a hilltop, with a high ground. Footballist coming out of those compounds. I think that actually Unicorns, Fresh so crucial if you can find a couple of knocks here, but if Fresh goes down, Footballist still could claim this.
Oh man, Unicorns Love versus Footballist. This is a huge fight. 2 Alpha Tines clashing against each other, and there can be 2 Alpha Tines. Let's just find out who's going to be the one to actually stand out tall this time. That nade's quite close. Fresh taking a lot of damage on himself, and with that, Footballist find a little bit of more breathing space to work with. Another nade is going to be sealing the deal onto the man of Unicorns Love, and Unicorns Love, the cavalry should be there in no time. Fresh being taken care of now. Footballist as well on aggressive footing, and Unicorns Love trying to suppress down Footballist, but that's not really happening up till now. And look at the flank angle being created over here. Lin trying to make sure that the guy who's flanking, he should be taken care of as quick as possible, but Noak's going to be the answer instead. Footballist just playing that to perfection. As soon as they got the knock onto Fresh, easily were able to capitalize onto it.
I mean, you look towards Footballers, I think there was a chance, a slight sliver of hope that Unicorns of Love could have stolen that game away. The problem is, they were here on this hill, and the zone was here. They had to move further forward in onto that zone to be able to really capitalize on that shift. And Fresh needed, as we said, to stay alive in that situation. But because that nade just landed straight on into Fresh, there was no defending anything. And as soon as Fresh fall, you can see the rest of Unicorns of Love. They just fell apart when it came to getting that final chicken dinner in place. Footballers rightly so. The zone, I think, gifted that chicken dinner, but they'll take it. You take those wins where you can get them and those points, because Footballers, they needed that to climb up, and they've been phenomenal today. I mean, 2 chicken dinners now. We wanted to see, can anyone repeat S2G and those multiple chicken dinners? Well, here we got our second answer.
Well, here we do go. Yeah, football is definitely having the day of their life, I would like to say, as they won even the first game of the second day, and now they're also able to win this game as well. That's absolutely huge, right? And this is what they really needed. And football is able to show themselves when they really needed to. And now as they have also gotten a little bit of safety cushion, I would like to say, in the next game, they can try and screw things up for other teams.
I mean, to be fair, football is, yes, they get that lead, but I think you're about extending it. Can you even go towards S2G? Because, I mean, football is set on charge to track and kick their way over that goal line in towards that first place chicken dinner. If they can potentially get further up with some more good games, they're definitely improving. They're definitely a scaling team that has been seeing more and more and more improvement as this tournament has gone on. And I think that we're starting to see the slip, the fall of what we had the Kings of week 1 of the rest of S2G. These teams that we thought could be strong coming back into week 2, but the consistency just not being there. And I think it's this, as we said, a surgence of lower teams. Even Na'Vi, you could class in there as one of those lower teams, coming up strong so far in this week 2.
I mean, hey, in the end, football is just proving Unicorns' love unparalleled, right? And in the end, they just came out on top, just striked in, as I mentioned, when they needed to. But this is how Na'Vi, I mean, things really fell apart with that initial rotation that they had no info where they exactly do want to go, had no game plan, and Kitsune was the only man left with that rotation. And still, I mean, he was able to survive for a longer time. I expected Kitsune to be taken down instantly, but still, both those teams, Rise and Bullock, knew that there is more threats alive. And if they do decide to push Kitsune, there might just be a possible third party. So they played that to perfection. And this nade right there on the Fresh, it just changed things completely. And this is where Unicorns' love fell apart.
Yeah, I think it was footballists. They split themselves wide. They tried to play across all of those flanks. As a result, they were able to find those flanks and a success, as we said, of that chicken dinner. But see what, of course, the rest of these players thought about that chicken dinner. And back again for the analyst.
Footballist again with another chicken dinner. Zute, S2G, Super Weekend 1. They won 5 chicken dinners, and everybody else only was able to go on ahead and achieve 1 at least. This week, they kind of changed it. It's Footballist. Footballist has 3 chicken dinners, and then everybody else just has 1. That's nuts.
Yeah, I think Footballist got 2 today so far. And there's a saying called Soul Case Sunday. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not Sunday, but come Sunday, hey, they might even pop off harder. So they might see that 5 chicken dinners or do even more than that. But looking at the rankings, you mentioned S2G. S2G, well, you guys all said they're trying something new this week because they have such a big cushion. It's pretty obvious whatever they're trying isn't working out as well as it was last week, 7.
Yeah, and you know what's a surprise? I'm actually shocked to see Mafioso here as the MVP, considering that Alpha 7 ended up exiting in 7th place. So that's actually really impressive. Mafioso being able to get 5 Illims with 609 damage, 53% of team contribution as well. But going back to you guys were saying, like, football is Soul Case Sunday, more like Soul Case Saturday maybe, and then tomorrow too, because right now they're looking really, really good. I love how they were able to just kind of play off that last circle too, being able to get different angles, and football is being able to jump up, at least for this Super Weekend stats only, being able to jump up for first place with 120 points there, Sue.
Yeah, looking really, really strong. Alpha 7 still in second. Besiktas dropping a little bit. The Knights and Na'Vi doing really well too. And it's surprising, real quick, how well Na'Vi's doing given the fact that, you know, Alpha 7 has been stopping them pretty much. So just imagine if Na'Vi start turning things around and start beating out Alpha 7. I think Na'Vi's got a lot of potential to grow. Coming on to the second page here. Oh, we're pretty much done. We got one more game left for the day 2. Teams down here not looking too great. Some of them, of course, already had really good games Super Weekend 1, so nothing to worry about too much there. But I do believe they want to at least finish a Super Weekend not on the second page. So we'll have to see what happens after the next game.
Sue, in Span too, can we talk about Supermassive Blaze for a second? This is a team, and I was thinking back to it, this is a team that has now made it to 2 Super Weekends, and their performances had just not showed up. They haven't showed up at all, to the point that Besiktas on their first Super Weekend with just 1.5 days played, they have passed them in points too. That's crazy to me.
Man, just the entire leaderboard is crazy to me. Azute was talking about it, like this is the second super weekend and they want to go ahead and be on the left side of the leaderboard instead of that second page. Another thing to kind of think about is at the very end, you know, we'll see the total super weekends 1 and 2 points kind of put together. And we mentioned at the very top of the show, this is past the halfway point after that, because there's only 3 super weekends that go into account to get into that top 16. So that's one more match to kind of figure out where everybody's going to be at. But there's another question I have for you too, and actually for the viewers as well. Let's have them answer first. Just go ahead and put in the chat, which player do y'all think will have the most eliminations by the end of the day? Zute, if you want to take that right now, who's doing really well right now?
At the end of the day, it's gotta be someone from Footballist, I feel. But I'm not too sure, so I'm gonna just go with my trusted pick. As far as MVP players, most elims go, I'm gonna go with Coops. The Knights are doing pretty well in the Super Weekends though, so there's a chance, but it's really hard to follow. So many different players have been popping off left and right in each of these games.
Okay, 7, is there any specific player that you've been keeping an eye on in terms of eliminations?
Not in a specific player, but I got a team of the player that he might be part of. I think Ghost Gaming. I mean, Ghost Gaming has actually showed up today. They got a chicken dinner with 16 elims. They also ended up with a 4th place finish, I think, above 10 elims too. So if we're just talking about elims alone, it might be somebody from Ghost Gaming.
I'm not even sure. I don't want to like curse that whatsoever. I mean, we've definitely been seeing a lot of teams go up towards the top, but even this match, we ended up getting an MVP that wasn't even in towards that end game. So I'm just gonna, you know, take the host dip out of that question and not give an answer. And I'm gonna immediately throw it to break so you guys can't pressure me into it. We have one more match left, y'all, and we're gonna be back after this short break.
For this flame path, going from Primals all the way up to just between. Hang on a minute. I don't think carpooling is a thing in PMGC. Oh! To the side, get to the tree. That's your cover.
Get over here!
And get your teammate involved.
I don't know. I feel like this is a painful situation if you're Satar. Let's see if he has any tricks up his sleeve. This guy's got the moves. He's got the moves, got the PMGC out there. He looks clean. He's right up the top of the car.
I'm gonna need backup. Who's gonna go in now?
Magic Man himself, Satar. But in comes another player. Ooh. To try and what for, and this time, oh, he's got a gun. Okay, yeah, there's not a lot you can do. I mean, dodging cars is one thing.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Welcome back for the last time, second to last time today for PMGC West League. We only have one match left, and it's going to be over on Erangel once again. We've been seeing Footballers win 2 matches today so far, and otherwise these other matches go to other players as well. We already kind of hinted at it, Zute. Today's the last day where people can go on ahead and really get those points, the halfway mark of the Super Weekends. What are your expectations going into this Erangel? Like, at what point do you really think that they have to just continue to try and grab those points?
Well, Erangel, this Erangel is a little bit more special because it's the last match of the day, right? I always talk about momentum carrying over to the next day. So for the teams that are struggling on the second page, right, this is going to be a big one for them. I wouldn't even mind seeing them go out a little bit early as long as they pick up some elims, because I feel like being able to win some team fights is the biggest confidence boosters, as opposed to, you know, make a rotation, you get a few circles, you get a little bit lucky and you get those points. But looking at the elims, Mafioso right now, or not right now, after that last match on Sanhok with 5 elims, Rise Mythic with 4, Rom coming in with 3, the Chicken Dinner team. And I do want to say 2 of these players up here representing Brazil, so Brazil's definitely, they got something figured out on Sanhok, and it's got to be the aggression, in my opinion.
I mean, it gotta be. It has to be. They've been just absolutely performing every single Sanhok. I don't disagree, except for the one weekend where they kind of turned around when Navi kind of came into play. But this isn't going to be Sanhok. This is going to be Erangel. So that creates another interesting question of who's going to go on ahead and show up, because all of our Erangel so far for the Super Weekend have been going to a variety of teams. Really quickly, though, before we continue our conversation, though, is we got to shout out 1+9 and 9 Pro, of course, with flagship performance and an immersive 120Hz display and hypertouch technology made specifically for gamers. The 1+9 and 9 Pro are your best shot to climb the leaderboard 7. Already kind of talked about, that's the halfway point. I can't even imagine how these players are feeling. First of all, if you want to talk about that, and also just going ahead and just state your prediction as well.
Predictions first. Alpha 7. I got Alpha 7, all right? I gotta ride that wave that this man's
no.
Hey,
no.
It wasn't as bad as the last one, all right? Knights did kind of decent. Knights even did better than Alpha 7, so if we combine both of our powers here, Sue, it might be good for us.
Production, can I change my prediction? Because last time on Erangel, 7 tried to do that reverse. Actually, in my ear, they said I can.
Ooh.
I was joking. I still believe in Alpha 7, but production, thank you very much for letting me know. I have the ability to change my prediction, but I'm still gonna go with Alpha 7. I believe in them. This is the 5th and final game. I'm gonna stick true to, if you guess one team enough, a strong team enough, they'll get that win. But 7, come on, man. I can't believe you're gonna do me like this on the last game.
That's just probability.
I had to.
I feel like that's cheating, Zite, choosing the same one. That's just probability. Of course you're gonna eventually get it. Okay, but whatever. I'm gonna go on ahead and actually continue the footballist hype train. So that's who I'm gonna go on ahead and choose. I mean, we kind of talked about the mentality of all these teams and the players that they're getting points so far. Not that this is a halfway point, but right when you do well in a match, you do kind of catch that hype train. So I think footballists at this point, winning 2 matches, specifically getting that last one as well, I'm kind of expecting them to go on ahead and pop off in this last one as well. Plus, I don't want to be lame and keep choosing Alpha 7 each.
But you're talking about probability here. You're pretty much going with the team that has won more this Super Weekend. So, I mean, if we're talking about probability, you're the one that's going to go.
I think Span, but 7, slow down. I think Span just called us lame, by the way, if you didn't catch that. So, I hope Alpha 7. I hope Alpha 7 shows up and shows Span what we're talking about here. But I don't know, man. 7, you're cast a curse.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I can't choose Alpha 7 because then all 3 of us would have it. And I feel like who even knows what would happen in that case if all 3 of us chose them? Because, I mean, you guys choosing them kind of balances out. 7 kind of cursing them, Zute giving them the luck kind of neutralizes. Like, who knows what would happen if you throw a 3rd person in there? Like, I don't want that.
Let me call Glitter real quick. Let me find out. Let me use my OnePlus real quick to call Glitter and find out who just has for this last game. I'm pretty sure she'll get it right for sure. Glitter Damas, you can't go wrong with that one.
Glitter Damas, the one and only, right? You know what? There's a chance that after this match, we don't get a single prediction right. I don't think we haven't predicted a single team. This is
a couple of us were close.
We're analysts. This should be our job, right? As analysts to kind of predict things. If we go 0, okay, we got 3 of us here. Guess 3 times each. That's 15 guesses. Yeah, if we go 0 for 15, I hope we just keep our jobs for tomorrow.
Well, I got one yesterday, so I feel like I'm safe coming to today. I think it's okay.
No.
Except I did choose Footballer, so I'm feeling pretty confident for this last match. So, I mean, we'll see. I will also say, I mean, I also feel like why it's being so difficult for us is that all of these teams have, in fact, just really been performing so far. I mean, last Super Weekend, I feel like it was a little bit more... It was definitely easier to go ahead and predict who's going to win these matches, but this Super Weekend, like the second week, everybody's really changed. Everybody's kind of stepping up to the plate, and in my opinion, that's amazing to see.
Definitely have. I mean, with you talking about that, I mean, the first one that comes to mind, and one of the teams that I'm actually going to be looking at here in this match is going to be PUBG Chapter. I want to see if that team is going to show the confidence that they showed up with that last fight in Erangel with Alpha 7. I want to see if they do get into some kind of fight, right? If PUBG Chapter decides to, hey, we won just now. let's do it again. Let's see what happens this time. And I hope it does happen. And I hope Blue Chapter goes and tries to be the aggressive. Even if it doesn't work out, at least you tried.
I gotta agree. What Span was saying, absolutely right. A lot of teams are stepping up, so we don't see that constant domination of one team. It's not like Super Weekend 1, where S2G, like, just constant chicken dinners. Everyone was scrapping for their first one. So we'll see what happens this one, Span. But yeah, the lobby's definitely heating up. Players are definitely getting better and better as days go on.
And that's why I'm really excited to get into this last match because, I mean, we put our predictions out, but we're not quite sure. No matter who's going to go on ahead and grab it, it'll be exciting to see. Let's go ahead and jump right on into it for our very last matchup today. Erangel, once again, take it away, Wolf and Necro.
Thank you very much. Of course, myself and Necro cast the final game. And I've got 2 things to point out that I have gathered. First things first, it's not Sulky Sunday. It's football this Saturday, baby. That is what it is, Necro. And the second thing is that I feel like the East Maxman curse is spreading. It's spreading over here. I mean, I'm praying that A7, for the sake of all of us, get this chicken dinner. Because if we go over 15, oh boy, that Maxman curse, it is coming over to the West, and I don't like it.
Oh man, I can already tell the analysts are definitely going to be feeling a lot of pressure, man. Especially Zute and 7, they're going to be feeling a lot of pressure. If A7 aren't able to show in this game, guys, you guys better be ready.
When we're sticking them in, we're going to put them down to PUBG and say you can't predict. Well, we're going to make you win yourself. Go up against all of these PMGC teams. They're only the best in the West.
Oh man, well, just like always, Unicorns love this time, but they're quite going to be safe. They don't really have Footballist challenging them on their draw application, so they're going to be finding themselves in a safe spot for now. Footballist instead going towards Georgia Pool containers. This is where they're going to be calling it a home and trying to loot. On the other hand, A7 and Na'Vi, they aren't really clashing against each other on the Northern Georgia Pool, right? Because A7, they are settling inside Zarki, and so that's quite a huge adaptation from the side of A7. They do not want to fight Na'Vi in early off. They do not want any kind of casualties on their side that early in the game, which is quite understandable. And A7 making that rotation all the way from Zarki will be a little tough task, but let's just see what they're able to do here.
Over towards the course south side. Heading into, I think we've seen this zone before, Necro. It is an imposter zone. Game number 3, perhaps, we saw a zone like this in Central in towards Gatka Fields. I mean, feel like we could be repeating ourselves in history, but I like some changes coming out from these teams, adapting over towards this. I mean, Black Dragon's just still stay the same. I mean, with stats like that, if you're Roman Lisney, you don't need, or Roman Lisney, so should I say, get myself right. You don't need to worry about moving because you've got the good stats in that south side, not so much over Na'Vi. I know, right? It looks a little bit like a disaster zone here. I mean, I wonder, was it a vehicle? Was it themselves? What did they do to deserve the knock? Meku, hello. Just started. We've got to get ourselves back up, my friends. It's Na'Vi. I think it might have been them. They're coming over that top of the hill.
What? All right. Well, they're definitely having a fight over here. They're quite pissed at each other. I think someone made a mistake, and now the teammates are having a little bit of fights, but it's fine. I'm pretty sure they can patch up together later on. And over here, as I mentioned, A7 are not really going to be that big of a threat for Na'Vi, but still, instead this time, they're not really going for Zarki, Jake. There's still another Georgia Pool, just keeping that social distancing, just maintaining that social distancing from Na'Vi. Yeah,
respect,
for now,
right?
H2G,
I mean, for the
again,
time
in the center.
I mean, that's exactly right. What Na'Vi and the rest. Oh no! Oh, it happened. Oh my
yeah,
days!
well, there you
How
go.
could you?
Understandable.
That was not right, Tixie. Sit down. You're going to be cuffed. You're going to go to Na'Vi jail. You can't be like that, Tixie. My goodness gracious me. The shame right now is Meku. I feel bad for him. I feel sorry if I am Meku. I wanted to see the comms. I mean, for a guy like me, I feel bad, but I also want to hear how memeable their voice chat was.
That's true, yeah. I mean, he clearly did see it, right? I mean, Meki was not happy. He was ramming his vehicle against his teammate's vehicle, and while he was clearly seeing that he was a little pissed, but yeah, we can get our heads off of that for now, because HTG again in the smack center with this kind of zone. As you mentioned, we did spot the similar zone even inside the game 3, and now over here as well. It's just a similar zone again. So HTG, they are going to be finding themselves in the smack center. Ghost as well in quite a decent positioning, but this time hopefully they're going to be doing a little bit better than the last time.
Still, teams gonna take it slow, of course. As we said, we've seen a zone like this before. I think we're gonna see, again, as we said, the slower rotations on in. I do like, as we said, some more of these adaptations. Some of them, of course, being that of footballist, of course, heading back towards hospital side, because, of course, keep in mind that playing basketball is slightly different, so it allows them to head back over towards that Everest side, keep that high ground informational control for them. Opposite, though, to them, Yasnaya Pollyanna is going to be the midst of Besiktas and also Knight, stepping it up together as Besiktas will finally leave. So as we do get the northern side of opposite ends of this zone closing on in, south side looking a little more desolate, we could say here. Is not really too many teams coming from that south side, as my Dragon still to cross, the rest of Fibonacci still to walk on in into Pachinki versus Ghost. Still yet to see the paces pick up on these teams. I mean, rightfully, as you said, they're keeping themselves respectfully socially distant in such a time.
Yeah, E7, definitely. They are sensing, they are smelling Na'Vi closing up on them slowly and steadily. But on the other hand, up till now in the game, we haven't really spotted any kind of fights going down. In like 6 minutes and 30 seconds and no blood being drawn here. Every single team is pretty much doing good. But again, we gotta know it's the calm before the storm. And as soon as next circle hits the deck, this is where the bodies as well will start hitting the deck.
Oh man, how do we hit the deck, go Necro? Did it just like backflip? Did we do a somersault? I mean, how many points are we giving there? Are we giving like an 8 out of 10 flip in the deck, or are we giving like a 10 out of 10 triple backflip into a somersault dive? What are we talking about?
Oh man. I would say
11.
10 out of 10. I would say
I'm giving him like an 11 for that, to be fair. Can we give him an 11? I think we can give him an 11, right?
I mean, whatever you want, Jake. Whatever you want, Jake. I will try to make you happy, man. It's fine.
Thank you.
I just want to see you happy, brother. But yeah, on the other hand, HCG again, we do see Salas Pew quite close to Footballist. But again, Footballist having such a brilliant game, having such good games today. They're definitely going to be feeling quite well. On the other hand, still, as I mentioned, nothing really happening. And this is quite strange for me, right? Because we've always been seeing those clashes coming in. We've always seen like at least 1 or 2 individual fights going down. We've seen teams getting handicapped up till now. But inside this game, there's just something different. And well, Black Dragons, they've already traversed across all the way on the northern side. Unicorns love, I do like what they're trying to do here. They're going all the way. They're taking quite a longer approach inside the military base. But I'm going to hold on to my word. Fibonacci again. They might just be caught in the rotation. Choco spawning a couple of players, taking a little bit of shots, and was able to deal a lot of damage on a Rebellion, but still not really able to get that knock.
Rebellion is going to escape for now, but I think they've got other problems here, and that is not just the Corsos in one direction, but the fact that Fibonacci, they find themselves surrounded by plenty of these teams. That, of course, being one of them coming in on the opposite end, and well, they don't really know where to go if you're Fibonacci, because the only other way is into the ocean, and that's not really where you want to be inside of that first phase zone, depending on where it does shift. I mean, just quite frankly, I don't think I want to be in the ocean. I'm not, as much as I am a lifeguard in my previous form, I am not one for the water right now. I'm feeling more like a land dogger myself. Are you feeling more like a land person yourself here, Necro, today?
I highly doubt that, man. I don't really know. I got a question.
You feeling more like Ross River?
I don't really feel like stretching my brain over that, honestly. But yeah, on the other hand, now Black Dragons and Fibonacci, well, spawning each other out. Falky gonna be making a safe move out of that one. Not really interested in fighting, it seems like. And on the other hand, Furious Gaming catching a couple of bullets. Finally, as I mentioned, this is the calm before the storm, and we're finally seeing a huge wave moving inside the zone all the way from the right side, including Knights and Furious Gaming moving quite next to each other. And Knights, still, they're looking to establish their mark today.
Sorry, I just choked in water. Speaking of, I think the water is coming back to me. It's revolting against me here, Necro. I said I hated it, but now it's trying to get me. trying to AWM me in the neck. Because I gotta be careful here, Necro. It's a dangerous world out here in this game 5. There's phase 2. It will center in towards that Everest side, and Footballist Everest will take that control. And I think that actually Footballist, I keep my eyes towards him here, because I think if they can keep that Everest control, they're looking really strong. A lot of these teams come in. But the problem is, for them, when they're looking for that information, it's not on that side. It's on the opposite end. It's on this eastern flanks. And nice. They're the ones taking the kills on Fibonacci. Fibonacci running away is Rebellion. I think he might be... Yes,
oh, there we go.
One for the dust, as there it goes. He drops down, and Knights will pick up potentially that kill if next way on third party it away.
Oh man, Rebellion kill should be confirmed in no time, and yes it is. Xenox finally moving up close and personal, getting that kill on his name now. He's taking little shots from the side next to Yikta. It's just bringing him down, trying to blow the vehicle up, but is that the case? That's the question. He's able to connect a few bullets, but nothing really critical happening up to him now. And Knights, they're going to be having a little casualty on their side as well. That kill came in at a cost, and well, one man from Knights falls down. It's Alucard not really in the game anymore, taken care of, gotten rid of, and Xenox all the way out in the open fields as well. It's down quite low. He's able to patch himself back up. Besiktas, oh, they've gotten themselves this Razak kill, and the rest should be back up on the feet, but still the threat hasn't been silenced yet.
Still nice though. I don't think they're quite done. I mean, they got one kill. I think they're going for seconds, but Coops, he gets a little bit too hungry. When Superman's Blaze, they'll shut his trap right shut. Is now Salvin. He's going to move further in. Crucera careful on the front line. We've seen a fight like this before. Superman's Blaze, will they play it together? I hope so. Is Miramar coming in together? Crucera will confirm Coops away. The stars of the player drops first. 4 Knights and down to just Choco and Xenox. He can't move. He can't play the game. Chico, he's left in his own. There's no hope for him. The nade will finish him off. Crucera strikes a double. Crucera, he's a star-started player for now, but it's still Fibonacci taking a long pot shots. Trying to look for that third party. None will come as Ghost also in equally their own fight versus Black Dragons, taking away GC God. It's 1-for-1 trade as Ghost will also be silenced away. Golden on the flank end. But Golden is the only one alive, and he's also in a tricky position. Keep in mind Fibonacci here, alongside also Ghost. 2 equal sides behind him.
Yeah, Fenerbahce. Right in the front lines of Black Dragons, and as well, keep this in mind, Fenerbahce, they do have a casualty on their name. They're still not looking good. They only have a 3-man squad to work with, but they still need to surpass teams like Ghost and H2G. The defense is looking quite strong, and breaching that is going to be a hell of a task to pull off. H2G looking quite strong in this one, including Ghost. And as we mentioned, teams like Black Dragons and Fenerbahce, if they do want to make it out, they will have to fight themselves first and then maybe try and take the other player down. And what did I just see in the kill feed? I saw Duke and Machine just take himself down. Don't really know what exactly happened there. We might have to get a replay on that. But on the other hand, Navi and A7 again catching their eyes against each other. Not really able to do anything crucial. And while Duke and Machine, as I mentioned, he got taken down somehow. I think so he just moved out of a moving vehicle, and Duke and Machine. The rest should be back up onto Duke and Machine, but still, it's going to be putting Fenerbahce in such an uncomfortable spot. And this was exactly what I was talking about. Duke and Machine, that mistake. Oh, it's going to be costing maybe Fenerbahce this game. And Fenerbahce, they really need this one. But Golden, as being taken care of by Silas, connects that headshot in the crucial time. And Fenerbahce might just be saved by Ghost Gaming.
I was looking for that beautiful 3v1, and then Silas Pierce pewed him down. 1 shot, 1 kill. As Silas Pierce steals Smokes away. I feel broken inside. As S2G even move further in on that zone. We'll cross that roadside in past Pachinki. That's going to be their next difficult move to make, as also Fenerbahce will have to do the same. Equally even more so difficult, though. They've got to get in towards that church line. Is Ghost. They're the ones singing from the hymn sheet right now. Unicorns of Love. Heading over backwards towards that western side, though. Footballers, they have moved further down. We talked about that information. What have they gathered? Because they are heading in on the edge of these ruined sides. And I think this is going to be a fairly nasty one here for this final game. I mean, Footballers, yes, they have actually a great still position. Because the rest of his zone, keep in mind, we're heading down into those ruins. We're heading into Watertown. In around Roshok Road, up towards the northern side, that bridge. This is a devilish zone to finish it off here in the second night.
Yeah, definitely the zone being kind of cruel against the teams. Does want to see these teams struggle, and well, guess what? I do want to see the same things. I want to see the teams struggle. I want to see the teams put on an absolute show for us and also the viewers. So, well, this zone's definitely going to be helping it out quite a lot. That's on. Choco trying to reposition the Weakle, making sure the Weakle's being safe. If things go south, the Weakle's going to be helping them quite a lot in making those quick rotations. And H2G now find themselves in quite the open field. Fresh able to escape a lot of eyes. Is not really going to be catching any bullets, at least up till now. And Unicorns love. They have quite a huge spread. I do want to see how they're able to play with that. H2G getting a pretty decent positioning inside the zone, but still they're right on the edge, and I don't really think so. H2G is the kind of a team they like to play like this. They do want to at least try and establish their mark inside center of the zone. A7 on the other hand, going against Furious Gaming. But Furious Gaming, not interested in fighting.
No, that zone just went away from Rozhok, so I definitely won't be interested in that fight. Moving in onto the zone itself, because that side just, I think, south of Rozhok here, coming across that hill, moving in onto the flats of Watertown. That's where you're really looking for Furious Gaming to try to take up. But I think Pitbull is maybe rumbled here and said, let's drop one. But at least they'll find one in return. It's right on the flank side. We'll take two. And it's pretty disastrous here for S2G, as they probably had the upper advantage. But instead, Sanhok, he tries to find a shot. Can he find Lutz? I don't think he can, as Lutz will just take him down in a 1v1, and it gets even worse for S2G.
Definitely, and now Lotzi, as you mentioned, it gets even worse for that team. And Rice, able to strike the team down in the front lines, and Ghost, well, they're just going to get taken care of by a team like Rise, and Ghost not in the game anymore, getting eliminated pretty early off. And well, keep this in mind, as I mentioned, the fight started happening pretty late as well, so it's quite understandable that there's fights happening all across the board. And Football is so okay, catching a little bit of bullets, is able to make it back to safety in the nick of time. But is he safe? That's the real question. On the other hand, the rest of the two players from Football is out in the open, have those smokes to work with as a temporary cover. But keep this in mind, I use the word temporary. It's not really going to be lasting for a long time. A7 on the other hand, Revo catching a couple of bullets onto himself. Trying to retaliate back in this one. Papi Potro is the man in the close contestations.
Still, Supermassive Blaze, they are entering up on the hill though, in between all of, as you said, Furious Gaming, Alpha 7, the worst off out of the three of them though. They have to move in on that zone, and Phase 4 is closing in behind them, and I think this is why you saw Furious Gaming make such a speedy push back. But it's Supermassive Blaze, right? They take the control, down 2, then on a high watchtower, they'll take 3. Tron is on a rampage. He's about to take the 4v1 place, but he goes down, silenced finally by Papi Potro. But what will A7 make of this? Will they use that advantage? Because they're still playing it slow despite the kill feed, despite the shots coming through from Supermassive Blaze.
Oh, the cavalry's here, and as you mentioned, Tron being taken care of now. He was just raining down death and destruction on the players of Furious Gaming. Furious Gaming able to withstand a lot of damage, able to tank a lot of damage in that fight. They're still alive. Trick is in though. Molotov comes in through, able to find one. But on the other hand, Football is fighting against Unicorns Love. This fight has been going for a really long time. It did come down to a stalemate, but finally it breaks out again. Fresh catching bullets from the back. Back's exposed, doesn't really have anywhere to go. He cannot reposition himself. He's being sandwiched. He's being eaten alive. And Football is able to take care of Ghost. Him being taken out, that's a huge threat, being silenced in the game. And now Unicorns Love looking to find the opening. But guess what? GK first realizes that there's no way he's going to be able to come out on top in that fight. Instead, he can try and play things a little safe. He can try and go for those quick placement points.
Yeah, I mean, it's all down now. Unicorns are love, but trying to play it for the healing strategy. There's nothing more GK First can do. As Na'Vi will also drop one. Crossing over into the zone, it's about to get worse for some of these teams. Oh, it goes over to Water Tower. We're getting a Water Tower finish, baby. For the end of Game 5, Day 2. We're not seeing it this yet. And I want to see what these teams can do. Can they swim? The zone is determined to give us some water in the end of this match. Is Papi Potro. He did manage to revive 2. They couldn't save all 4, but it's better. And I think what we could have hoped for, considering Furious Gaming, for the state that they were put into in A7, they didn't push. They didn't push as far, and they will lose 1. The hopes that the analysts slip in as Mafioso drops as well. Oh no, it looks even worse.
Oh yeah, here we go. The analyst curse comes in through. A7 left with only 3 players alive. Oh no, analysts, they're not going to be feeling good. Just watching just A7 getting dismantled like that. Na'Vi Oh, that nade was quite close, but Matic still able to get there. Oh my god, what was that? That's a heroic entry from the side of Matic. Able to get those 2 kills easily, and Nextria, they're handicapped big time. One last man alive, but not anymore. Nihath also taking out the game. That's going to be leaving Nextria in 10th position. Unicorns Love, though, still barely alive. They were able to escape the eyes of Footballists, but I'm pretty sure in any time soon, the last man should be taken care of from the side of Footballists. And here we go. Footballists just ramming their vehicles in against Besiktas, but didn't really expect Zesta to be there. Rom, quite down low. He's on a sliver of health, pretty much down to 1 HP. And well, one more bullet, that's going to be it for them.
Oh man, they're trying to go in, they're trying to walk further forward, but there's only 3 remaining now, and I think you can see it on the kill feed, 2-1. There's, I think, Besiktas, they should defend this. There's lots, you can't find it. Loose goes down, and now Enjoy, the star of Besiktas himself, takes him away. And inside the vehicle, Soke is praying right now.
What is going on?
He will not be spotted, but I think they know. The nade's coming, it's okay. He's being rumbled. He has to go. He finds one. Can he get a second? The nade's gonna pop. Will it hit him back in the face? Wow,
no.
Nade's himself. Oh, Days.
no.
No, please. Let it have mercy. As he will go further back forward. It's okay now in a 1v1. 1v2 is recent. Steps back further forwards.
Oh, that's a taste of his own medicine right there, Rom. Those luckily, his teammates there who's got his back is going to be able to get back up on the feet, should be able to patch up as well. But what underhand nade can just seal the deal over here, Rom? Okay, looking good for now. He is looking quite safe. Footballist looking to take another man down, and both that nade's cooked to perfection. Reset being fired. That's going to be leaving them in quite a good place, and now Besiktas as well. They're not a team that's going to be just falling like that. They're able to trade things back. Trades are happening back and forth. Enjoy 7, making a move, and no Solke! Oh, he just walked to his own death, but was able to retreat back in the nick of time. And guess what? Now Rise is in the party. Rise are like, you guys gonna have a party without us, but another nade to seal the deal, and Footballists come out on top.
Oh, Footballists is Nade City inside Water Town. We will confirm away the rest of Besiktas, but I think his nades raining in on Rise that will be superior. As they do land on top of the rooftop, one more. Righty so, they will tickle him down, slowly but surely. Footballist 10 limbs is all they'll grab. And a 6th place finish is Furious Gaming. Meanwhile, away from the cameras, they've been assaulting their own battle here with smokes. Utilities used and expended, trying to get past this open flat into, of course, Water Town. Blue Chip Town, I think, is going to suffer the same problem. But the control there from Na'Vi, Rise, not as much. So there is options, there is hope for Blue Chip Town and Furious Gaming, but we need to put on that trigger finger. We need to be able to have that go button to enter on in, because as the control shifts further away, I think that it could be worse for them. I mean, Blue Chip Town, yes, they've got a zone, but one more shift towards the south, and Blue are looking so dire.
Yeah. Furious Gaming, though, they have their own trouble to take care of for now. And to get their eyes off of that trouble is going to be quite a difficult task, because they're also being peppered down by Rise. One knock on the side of Rise can at least help Furious Gaming out quite a lot. But Furious Gaming, they're just taking a lot of damage. As I mentioned, they don't have the cover to work with. All they have is a little ridge, but again, they're quite vulnerable from a team like Bullock. One man being spotted, one man being taken down from Furious Gaming. That's going to lead to their demise. But again, Na'Vi, as you mentioned, they are the rulers of the Water City. They're looking quite strong. And if the circle moves again with Na'Vi, if it favors Na'Vi, that's going to be it. Na'Vi's game, another one. And Na'Vi will be able to seal the deal on another Erangel match. But Bullock, again, as I mentioned, one free knock from the side of Bullock. And Furious Gaming will be put into a lot of trouble.
Rest of Na'Vi looking like the kings of Atlantis right now, as they will continue to surface forwards in onto the land. The zone has shifted away from them. Rise doing the same. Slowly creeping their way forward.
Oh.
Nunes will go down first as Pixie strikes back again. I think they will lose just 2. Yes, they will. And Nick on his own.
Oh, that MG3. Oh, finds Meku, but luckily he got shut down instantly. But the rest on the Meku is going to be such a tough task. On the other hand, Bullock, again, they're alive with all 4 players, if I'm not mistaken. And Bullock, they're looking quite good, but they just don't really have a lot of breathing space to work with. On the other hand, Na'Vi, they do have a lot of breathing space, but again, the visual contact Bullock are easily able to make it onto them. And Bullock, if they gather a lot of intel against Na'Vi, that might just be it. Bullock might just be able to get this game, or at least get the chicken dinner throughout the day. Bullock has been doing pretty good, and this chicken dinner might just be a cherry on top of a cake. But on the other hand, Na'Vi, look at Kitsune, what he's trying to do. Trying to create a little bit of flank angle, trying to create a cheeky angle. If he finds one opening, that's going to leave Bullock in such a bad state of mind.
But you leave a cake out in the open, it goes stale here, and I think Balut for losing their opportunity is it gives over more time to Na'Vi to prep in for their own chicken dinner win. As they have now surfaced, Guzuni round aside onto Medon, and now as Medon looks further forwards onto Kitsune, might just be needed up here, will only go down half HP, it goes short. Furious Gaming, keep in mind still that third party though, as they will drop one.
Oh, one man being spotted out in the open, took a lot of shots, and finally Furious Gaming, they're out the way now, threat being silenced. Furious Gaming knocked off the game. Na'Vi left with only 4 players with actually all their squad alive, and guess what, Kitsune just single-handedly mowing Bullock down. Ries trying to get the fallen man back up, but is that going to be the case over here? That's the question. Is the fallen man going to be able to get himself back up? That's the question. Maidon moving quite close, and if he gets spotted, that's the only hope that Bullock has. As soon as Maidon gets taken care of, Bullock, I'm pretty sure there's no way they're going to be able to win this chicken dinner unless Na'Vi just makes some rookie mistakes and just gift Bullock this chicken dinner.
Maidon is the only one alive.
That's it. Yup, as I mentioned.
Like that. Ah, Necro. Just like you mentioned, man, they got dropped one after another. I think you mentioned it right. They needed that possibility of a chicken dinner. They couldn't find it though. They couldn't get it because they played it slow. They needed to get across that road. The problem was that road, right? I mean, they tried to play for the zone. The zone didn't come for them. And I think this is a problem with a team like Balut Chaptan. They're not playing for that zone there, Necro. And what's it going to take for a team like Balut Chaptan to change that?
Oh man, I don't really know, right? Bullock, I just feel like they got really unlucky, right? I mean, I do understand there was the road kind of dividing that zone in the end, and Bullock, they just didn't really have a lot of cover to work with, right? They had those vehicles working for them, but again, how are they going to be able to utilize it, especially when the Wall of Death is moving against them? And Na'Vi, such a strong team, they have the most amount of zone being covered as well, so moving inside the zone while also being peppered down by a squad like Na'Vi, the chances of you surviving are quite low.
Yeah, I think that Na'Vi, they had the opportunity, right, to stop them, but as we said, as soon as they surfaced out of Watertown, it was all over. I mean, Na'Vi they had that control over Rise. It was between Rise and Na'Vi who took that chicken dinner, but Na'Vi came right over them, and I'm not surprised to see Na'Vi once again on top. I think that Na'Vi, to be fair, in his second Super Weekend, right, they've been looking so phenomenal in their wins, in their ability to come out on top. I mean, we don't see it because Na'Vi is not a team that we talk about a lot. We expect them to be as good. But they've been coming out with multiple chicken dinners this week and weekend particularly, and they've been coming out with multiple high-end kills. I mean, another double-digit kill game for them.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it just makes me wonder, right? I feel like that Super Weekend 1, Na'Vi played that lose on purpose. Maybe they just didn't really want to reveal their real strats, right, Jake?
Do you know what it was?
Did Na'Vi do that on purpose?
Do you know what it was?
What it was?
I know. It's a 7WG int strat is what it is. Is if you int the first week, you get back in on the second week, and you get all the points that you missed. This is exactly what it is. It's a prediction IQ. I figured it out.
Man. Well, this knock under Tron right here, man. This knock under Tron was so crucial, right? Poppy Poacher able to save the day for his team, was able to take care of Tron. If he wasn't really able to do so, I don't even think so Furious Gaming would have made it alive till such late in the top 3. But yeah, luckily Poppy Poacher was there to save the day. Alpha 7, unfortunately, that's how they got really shut down. And Endless as well, they're going to be having those sad faces.
Oh man, they can have happy faces, so they did well. I mean, A7, they struggled to be fair today to get in. I think that Na'Vi
they still have a decent performance.
Right, I mean, it's when A7 go down, it's because Na'Vi are on top, and it's just because Na'Vi were having a good day today. That's all it was. We can just have a write-off day. We're gonna come back tomorrow. We're gonna get like 15 out of 15. I have to lose faith in them. They're all gonna pick successful chicken dinners. And to be fair, Balut Chaptan, you gotta give it to them, though. I mean, yes, they didn't give that chicken dinner. Still second place at the end of the day. I mean, Balut Chaptan, they've been stepping up and they've been getting the points. But Na'Vi still came out on top. Analysts, Tell me what you think of that.
Well, if there was some sort of competition about us getting our predictions correct, we're definitely the losers in this one. We didn't even get that one as well. But again, well, huge game coming through from Navi. Just to go on ahead and take a look at that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like well, personally, I won. I did that reverse curse again, Sue.
Last game for A7, or last Erangel for A7, you predicted A7. That was your prediction, but it was that reverse caster because you wanted Navi to win, and they did win. In this last game, you told me you were actually picking A7. You lied to me, 7. I can't believe it worked twice in a row, though. But I'm not picking A7 anymore when you're picking A7. That's for a fact.
I think I might be onto something here, right? I might be onto something. Pick a team that I don't actually want to win, and hopefully the team that they usually go up against a lot, that team will win. Nonetheless, though, we do have an MVP here out of Rise. Mythic being able to get 6 Ilums, 944 damage. And I also got to give some props to Baluk Chapter. I think they did so well. This is a team that I've been wanting to see more out of. And guess what? They did just that in the last match. They were only able to secure at least 3 Ilums, but they were able to secure that second place finish. And for them to actually win that game, I know that thing said 41%. Yeah, it was more like a chance of winning of 10% for that team because they had to go into Circle. They had to go into Navi as well. That was set and looking pretty. Nonetheless, Blue Chatan, good job, guys. You guys seem to be improving, and I love seeing that. We have the most Ilums here. Rice Mythic with those 6 Ilums once again. Tixi and Miko. Navi being able to... Sute, in a way, Navi pretty much had the Circle every single time. But what I loved is that they were able to take advantage and secure some Ilums, and they ended up with 12 Ilums total.
Yeah, I'm still salty, so I'm just going to say it's not hard to get Elims when you get Circle all the time, 7. And whatever you did that last game for Navi. I mean, Navi, nothing against Navi. This is more me against 7 here. Just so everyone at home gets it straight. I'm not hating on Navi. I'm hating on 7 here. So, but yeah, good job to Navi. They got all those Elims. And special shout outs to Mythic there, getting those 6 Elims for his team. Rise, a constant aggressive team, staying true with getting the Elims. But this is your overall for Super Weekend 2 so far. So this does not include Super Weekend 1. Football is definitely doing the best out of all the teams, and Navi, well, they just surpassed A7. In second place, Navi with 111 points, looking way stronger than the first week, Super Weekend Navi, that we saw last week.
Ooh, Baluk Chaptan. I mean, Zute, you even mentioned how they were doing so much better. Every single match that we got to see today, I feel like we ended up seeing them in the late game. So they definitely were going on ahead and capitalizing off of those placement points, and they ended up being able to drag themselves from the bottom into that 10th place spot.
Yeah, Baluk Chaptan, that was a huge game for them. They really needed. This is their only Super Weekend. S2G second to last, but check this out. Overall, with the 2 Super Weekend combined, they're still in first place. So they still got a lot of cushion room to do whatever it is they want to do. Just remember, my opinion is, as long as they're learning and testing things out, that's fine. If they're just throwing games to throw games because they're not trying, quote unquote, then that's not the way to take advantage of your cushion points. 7.
Yeah, I see them take fights. I mean, I mentioned this earlier. I think they're still being risky. I think they're not just throwing for the sake of it, right? I see them take fights that they usually wouldn't take, especially if we go back to the first Super Weekend. And SCG is probably going to continue to do this. As I said, this overall ranking, as long as you're within the top 16, it doesn't really matter. Although you don't want to leave it to the point where you're kind of like Supermassive Blaze right now, only 103 points to them. They have had 2 Super Weekends now. I would expect that team to be a lot higher. Besiktas, though, having 110 points with still a day left, I think that's great. And now Baluk Chaptan, which this amazing performance here that they have had today. I mean, overall, just amazing in comparison to what they were able to do yesterday. 62 points for them. They're going to be able to catch up into Mad Bulls. Depending on how Supermassive Blaze ends up doing, it's going to be an interesting final week of League Play and Super Weekend. And yes, I'm loving what I'm seeing here, because you know what? It's not just the Coop show, baby. Xenox finally showing me what I wanted to see, Sue.
Hey, I was somewhat correct, right? I guess Coops from the Knights, but instead it's actually Xenox from the Knights with the most elims. Mythic, of course, we just saw Mythic as MVP 44, and Soul K Sunday with 40 elims. I'm loving these three players here with their elims. All three players really, you know, not exactly putting the team on the back, but definitely doing a lot for the team. So it's good to see all three up here. I'm surprised, though, that it's Xenox. I mean, we actually talked about Xenox being that second potential star player when they brought him on from 19 Esports, right, Seven?
Yeah, we definitely
did. I think
did.
Xenox, he finally started to gel, and it's finally showing through, and he's even surpassing Coops at this point.
It's finally falling into place, right? We were asking for that dynamic duo for the longest time. Maybe this is the time, right? As we look at the winners of today, Football is with 2, Navi with 2, also Ghost Gaming being able to wake up and go from 16th place on the first game to first place on the second match. I mean, what a day. I'm loving the variety that we're seeing here in regards to teams being able to step up, Span.
The last thing I'd like to point out, actually, is seeing Solke on that most eliminations board. I was kind of expecting him to maybe be a little bit higher, because did you take a look at their overall eliminations for today, for the Super Weekend? They have 75 eliminations. The next highest amount of eliminations is 57.
So,
where did those kills even come from? That's disgusting.
That's a big difference. That's like almost 20. I can't really do math right now, but that's a big difference. Well, football is, they got, you brought it up earlier, Span. They have 3 chicken dinners so far for this Super Weekend, which is, and we even questioned, like, can they do what S2G did in the first week? So a lot of those elims came off the backs of those chicken dinners, but of course, football is looking extremely strong. Even when they don't get that chicken, they're racking up those elim points.
They really, really are. Like, I was surprised to see that. We missed it for the first couple of times, I guess. But yeah, taking a look at that last overall, I was just like, that is a lot of kills that they were able to pick up. And that just goes on ahead and poses a couple of questions that are just going to be left open-ended. So you take 7 before you guys start jumping in here, because we're going to go ahead and try and see if they're going to be answered tomorrow. Because that's all 5 games for today. And there's still one more day of the Super Weekend tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see if, of course, Football is going to be holding on to that top spot, if they're going to be able to get up to those 5 chicken dinners and meet up with S2G, and of course, just who's going to be at the top 16 of the overall leaderboard for the Super Weekends by the end of tomorrow, because it's now officially past the halfway point. They want to go ahead and rack up those as many points as they can. But that's it for me, Span Cargo, Zute7, World Gaming, and of course, all of our casters. We will catch you guys tomorrow for the last day of the second Super Weekend.